Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault XL. This commentary is pertaining to the Mulberry bush surrounding Sebastian Rogers. Court TV is the source. Thank you for joining me.
Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. There is Sebastian Rogers. He's been missing for more than 2 months now, but a very interesting development. That picture on the right has been circulating around social media. Someone snapped it, gave it to their friend. They've also given it to authorities as a tip. It was taken at a rest stop. Could that be Sebastian Rogers? Well, Nick Barris, who's been covering this story in depth with Scripps News Nashville, took a look at that picture, made some calls, and talked about it on his Facebook live stream. Let's take a listen.
There was a photograph taken this past weekend, and you may have seen it. This was at a visitor center in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, and a woman there, and I've talked to her friend, who was the one that posted it, who got it from the woman, said that she noticed this young man who very strongly resembled Sebastian. She took that snapshot, and my question was, why on earth didn't she just approach him and say, hey, you look just like Sebastian, what's your name? I mean, I tell you that right now. I'm going to do this. Now, everyone handles it differently. The story I was told back was that this woman was in a rush trying to meet some family, saw it, just thought, hey, that looks a little like him, took a snapshot, and then had to go on her way. And I understand, fair enough. She took that picture, looked at it later, and then, good for her, she turned it over to the TBI. Her friend then posted it on social media, and everyone is aflutter over whether or not this could potentially be Sebastian Rogers at a rest stop or visitor center in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. The latest on that, and I checked with Eric Craddock this morning, they are still addressing that issue.
Okay, so the search continues. So it's important to continue to share the picture, share the story. Eyes need to be everywhere. That photo was taken in North Carolina. I mean, it's been 2 months. Sebastian could be anywhere. So keep him in your thoughts. And if you see something, please say something.
All right, everybody. That's Court TV. Brief video clip pertaining to this photograph. What you have to ask yourself is the obvious. Okay, you're in a rush, but you took the picture. So why not call 911 and say, hey, the Sebastian Rogers kid that's missing, I think he's here at such and such. That way, law enforcement could have gotten right there to the scene to see if this was the child, talk to the people he was with, the company, whoever the young man is, if it is the child. Why not just call? And then you could go off and meet your friends, family, whoever, and 911 dispatch will take all your personal information. Naturally you could give you don't have to give your actual name or whatever, but you could, you know how to talk when you're grown. We're not talking about children here. We're talking about an adult. But just as quick as you took the picture, you could have dialed 911. Hi, I'm at such and such place. There's a kid with this on, standing with this person, don't know who he's with, or whatever. I mean, come on. Just saying. So what is the truth pertaining to the picture and now footage? Let's go back in time because this Mulberry bush is getting bigger and bigger. First, this story started off with an account from the mother, Katie Proudfoot. And the first information we got pertaining to the case, it started with a landfill search flashlights blinking. Then they debunked that and said, no, it wasn't. Then we heard it was something about the dump trucks, trash trucks. Then that was debunked by Mr. Seth. Then we got information of glasses found. Then that had nothing to do with the child. Now we're hearing about pants the other day. That doesn't have anything to do with the child. Now we have a photo. Now we also hearing about footage. We're also getting information about the lady working with this PI company. She's taking a roll back, taking a step back. Please take the poll on my community page. I will read the results here shortly. What's next pertaining to this debacle? And you can't believe, and let me not leave out, excuse me. Now we have neighbors speaking. And I've asked this question before in my live streams. Why hasn't anyone spoken out pertaining to knowing these people, dealing with these people, and also any knowledge pertaining to their relationship, the Proudfoots, with the boy child? And poof, voila, 2 months later, allegedly somebody's calling Susie Mae and Mary Sue about what they saw outside of the house, mistreatment of the boy child by Mr. Proudfoot, some nonsense about pressure washing the child. I was listening to it earlier. I fell asleep because, I have to get my rest. And there comes a point when you have to ask yourself, how long is this going to go on? It's all sickening. The debating, the arguing, the he said, the she said. You don't know who to believe. And the queen, I have a problem with anybody that comes out months later, years later, talking about a story. There's no reason to wait 2 months. Now, I understand in certain situations where it may be gang related, the perpetrators or suspects have a bad reputation in the town, the city, and you would fear for your safety not speaking. But I refuse to believe that any of you people living in Hendersonville are so afraid of Mr. Proudfoot. Because if I didn't know any better, it didn't seem like he or Katie, that they even have friends. So I'm trying to understand, why are you just now waiting to speak to somebody? You could have spoken to the news months ago, and nobody even had to know who you are. It's like anything. When you call the police, a dispatch, Crime Stoppers, you don't have to give your name. It's not mandatory that you give your name. They're going to ask you your name, but it doesn't mean you have to give your name. You can just give some information saying, this is what I noticed, this is what I saw. I don't know if it's helpful or not. And then you let the police decide. And then if you see that you don't hear anything about it, maybe you can take it to the news, because we have learned a lot of things get a jump off from people going to the news. Social media and the news. So if you think that, hey, nobody's trying to reach out to me, nobody's calling me back, I've reached out to tell them this, and the detective never called you back, TBI or your local FBI agency doesn't call you back, go to the news. They'll listen. Go to the newspaper. So let's ask that question. 2 months later, why are we just now hearing information from a neighbors? Are the allegations true of Mr. Proudfoot spraying the child with pressure washer hose? Was Mr. Proudfoot abusing the child? Then you got to ask yourself, when did that happen? Because if there was a CPS case, which allegedly was closed, I don't know. I don't know what to believe. You would not be putting your hands on a child for the fear that he would go back and tell that you had done something to him. Also, rumors of him using the restroom on himself, wearing diapers, children teasing him at school. He was known for this, which I thought was disrespectful of Mr. Proudfoot to say this. I don't keep up with everything Mr. Proudfoot says because I don't run around following Mr. Proudfoot's commentary on YouTube. And that's another thing that is really the biggest part of this Mulberry bush is Mr. Proudfoot always going to YouTubers to talk. Why? How many times can you talk to somebody about the same thing? But each time he goes, he's giving a different rendition, giving out personal information about the child. We heard different things from Seth, allegations of SA out in California. Then they finally, allegedly, Mr. Proudfoot at the vigil extended an olive branch, which I think that was for show because there were eyewitnesses there. Do you see where this is going? It's just a madhouse. Now you don't know what to believe. Is the child alive, not alive? Is he in North Carolina, not in North Carolina? Are the neighbors telling the truth? Why would you all wait 2 months to bring out information? Why didn't you all go to the news or YouTuber before? You have to question these things. Because when I watch true crime, I see how sick and wicked it is. The crime itself, the allegations of a crime. The secrets that the people hold. The secrets that other people hold for the people in the storyline. And then people wait a day late, dollar short to confess something. Oh, I'm going to tell you what he told me one night at the bar. Oh, I'm going to tell you what he told me in confidence. Oh, I'm going to tell you what she told me one day. And then you're looking at this person like, why are you just now telling people this? Why are you just not going to the news with this? Why are you selling the story to somebody? You have to always ask those questions because you don't know what you're listening to. You don't know the people in the story, which is Seth, the boy child, Sebastian, Katie, Chris. You don't know them. You'd have to literally be friends with these people, related to them, deal with them on a daily basis to say they're doing this, they're about this. Other than that, you don't know them. So you have no idea what you're listening to. And all of this is just bizarre to me. Because every day it's up and down, up and down. It's just like the Summer Wells case. And what makes it worse is when the parents go to YouTube. And a lot of you like this type of nonsense because you feel like, oh, they're giving me something. Well, what are they giving you? They've given you different versions. And don't you find it odd that the person who was last with the child is not even talking to YouTubers, not even talking to the news? You all better wake up. This is just like Summer Wells. Don Wells was not with the child allegedly, but he's the orchestrator of the good news. Mr. Proudfoot is the orchestrator of the good news. Is anybody paying attention? The link is in the chat if you would like to join the Queen to give your opinion pertaining to this mulberry bush of he said and she said and flashlights and landfills and pants and glasses and the neighbors and a picture and footage. What is the involvement of the FBI? Who is the lead on the case? Is this Sebastian Rogers in North Carolina? As most of you know, I live right next door to North Carolina, Rock Store Way. So, I found it even more interesting thinking, well, damn, he was just over the hill from the Queen. Is this true? What is the truth? The link is in the chat if you'd like to kindly oblige Angela during this live stream. I just played you content from Court TV. I have more breaking news to bring to you guys a little bit later this weekend. I'm going to try to get them out. If you don't see a full video, you'll see a short. I'm going to bring you content pertaining to Britney Spears. She had an episode recently at the Hotel Marmar Hotel in LA. Don't know what's going on with her. Hopefully she won't be going back under conservatorship. She's paid out a nice lump sum of money, about $6 million to her father's attorneys and to her attorney. More nonsense pertaining to P. Diddy. As most of you know, the Kentucky Derby is now going on. And Mr. Dan Abrams has been blocked on TikTok and IG for his content pertaining to this debacle with the Palestinians and Israel, so on and so forth. Lord have mercy. TikTok, you shouldn't be banning anybody at this point because America does not want you operating here in the United States. So you banning one of the most well-known TV reporters, it's quite interesting. Well, Summer Thunder, hit the link. The link is in the chat if you want to join me. Anyone in the chat or anyone listening, it's not commenting, feel free to join me. Make this live count, make it go viral. That's the purpose of me dropping the link so you all can give your opinion. Let me go to my community page and see what you all have to say pertaining to the questions that I asked. I don't know what to think at this point, but I am going to read you a statement from the young lady who was working with Seth Rogers. I don't know if she thinks he's involved or not, or who's involved, but we're going to take a deep dive into that information. This is too much for me. At this point, I don't know what to think. I haven't a clue. Did Seth's female PI step back? Not because of possible FBI involvement, but she thinks that Sebastian is alive and there is fraud from one or more of the parents or other PI being spokesmen, and or she and Seth were not vibing. These are your options. FBI involved, 17%. Fraud from Seth, Katie, and Chris, 0%. Other PI took the lead, 33%. She and Seth not vibing, 0%. All of the above, 50%. So 6 votes, and most of you believe it's all of the above. That the FBI may be involved. Fraud from the parents. The other PI took the lead. She and Seth not vibing. Those were your options. Is Sebastian Rogers alive? If so, is he in North Carolina? He's alive, 0%. Not alive, 45%. In North Carolina, 27%. Not in North Carolina, 0%. Not sure of either, 27%. So 45% of you don't even believe he's alive. Very interesting. Is the photo circulating indeed Sebastian Rogers? 10% yes, 20% no, 70% of you are not sure out of 10 votes. You all are not sure. Lordy, 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 me. Where is this case going? Do you believe the account from the neighbors? Let's go there. Do you believe the neighbors who have spoken to, I guess, the YouTubers, do you believe their account of what they saw pertaining to Mr. Chris and the boy child Sebastian? Did he pressure wash this boy child, mistreated him in general? Possibly so. Is there an open or closed case pertaining to the boy child with CPS? What is the truth? And as one YouTuber has kindly gone on and on in her content about the date, most of us already knew you couldn't believe the date that he went missing because police have not shown us any footage of the boy child leaving the restaurant with the mother. So anybody could use common sense to say, well, until I see footage of him walking out of the restaurant with his mother, returning home to his house, then I'm not going to believe anything. So let's go back to that. What is the actual date of the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? I think the only reason why you have not gotten footage from the police, FBI, is because of the obvious. If indeed they believe the parents are involved, whichever one, they're not going to show you the footage of him returning home. Let's just say they're not going to show you anything, no matter what they have. They're not going to show you. Now, if this was a single person missing, a missing woman, missing guy, and they were seen at the Piggly Wiggly, 7-Eleven, or coming out of work, yeah, they'll show that footage. But so long as you have somebody that is a suspect, such as a parent, I can see them not showing that footage because it's a criminal investigation. So now we have to ask that question. Is this a criminal investigation? Who are the suspects in the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? Who do the FBI Sheriff's Office believe is the culprit? Do they believe that he's alive? Have they confirmed it? Now, I'm going to address somebody who was on Mr. T. Rev's panel last night talking, pertaining to why the police hasn't said anything. Well, they're not going to say anything. Why would they say anything? The police are not going to tell you what they learned over in North Carolina, if they confirm that's him or not. They've got to still put the pieces together before they bring a statement. They can't just bring you a statement saying he's been found or they've got to get everything lined up. They've got to talk to the district attorney, because if this is fraud, naturally they've got to go to the district attorney and they've got to start putting the case together with the district attorney. It's a stair step. The district attorney can't do anything without the detectives, and FBI and law enforcement can't do anything without the district attorney. So if this child is alive, common sense would tell you, okay, he's not going to be returned home. Because let's say law enforcement found the child. They located the child. They are talking to the people who had the child. The child is in the company of people who are known to the child, such as relatives. Ding, 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 ding. Why would I give the child back to the mother and father or Seth or whomever? Hell no, I'm not going to do that. Because if these people have lied and they have now falsified a fake report, I'm not going to give the child back to the parents. This will have to be now also a CPS issue. So I think everybody just jumps the gun in the information when, one, you got to get the information verified first before saying, oh, the child should go back home. Go back home to what? There's no going back home. Because that means the parents lied. So whoever he's with, whether it's relatives of the Proudfoot, friends of the Proudfoot, or friends and family of Seth, there's no going back home. That's common sense. That's why I always tell people you have to think before you speak. There's no going back home. It's not going back to nobody's house. Worst case scenario is the obvious. He will be in the state's care until they can rectify how he got there, what the information was said by the people who have him. They now have to implicate somebody. And another thing that nobody's paying attention to, why in the hell would these people be out in public with him knowing he's on a Amber Alert? Stay woke. This is the same thing we said with the Summer Wells case. Who walks around with a missing person that's on an Amber Alert and an FBI page pertaining to missing children? You cannot be this stupid to think somebody wouldn't recognize the child and say, oh, that looks like the boy that's missing out of West Tennessee. So you're going to walk around with him? And I've posed this question to you all 1,000 times pertaining to him, Summer, other missing children. Somebody has to stay with a child 24/7 and lock them in a house, dungeon, basement, whatever, and never let them out. Because only a fool is going to let out a child on an Amber Alert. You do not want to be seen with a missing child, period. How are you going to explain what you're doing with an Amber Alert, a child from an Amber Alert? Please help me understand. Do people do stupid stuff? Of course they do. But there's no way I'm going to be ready to walk around with you knowing the parents lied, told the police that you're missing, told me to keep you for whatever reason, and then I'm going to walk around the Blue Ridge Mountains in broad daylight, knowing there are security cameras and people can see and people can hear. Now, if this is fraud, the child is alive, he's with one of the parents' relatives, sisters, brothers, whomever, then they need to go down ASAP. And the child needs to be put into some type of facility for the mentally disabled children, wherever that may be. Wherever that may be. And it's a travesty. But naturally, if the child is alive, this is most definitely criminal either way. So whether he's alive or deceased, I would assume it would be criminal at this point because you don't have anything. And just like somebody was saying on another network, no way I believe this child was wandering around outside without shoes. He's got enough sense not to go outside. Now, the only way I can see him going outside is maybe he was running out for his safety. He felt threatened. He felt inadequate. He got angry. Because the one thing you always have to remember, you can't say what a person would and would not do because it's easy to say that. So all you have is what the people are telling you about the child. So we have this information from Seth or the mother about ants when he was a child. So you'll say to yourself, well, I can't see him going outside because of that incident. But like they say, if you're running for your life and you don't have no shoes on, you're going to run and take the risk of whatever's outside. Mud, water, glass, charcoal, hot coal. Your safety comes first. What is the truth pertaining to this boy child? Is he alive? Is he in North Carolina? Is that an actual photograph and footage seen of the child? And why didn't this lady call 911? You could have easily just called 911. Whatever you were doing. Yes, I think this is this missing child from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Can you get an officer over here? You could have stood somewhere where they couldn't see you and just filmed it. That way they'd have a better view. So now you have to rely on footage from the area where the child was, whoever this child is. And just like somebody else was saying on Facebook. Now imagine this isn't Sebastian. Now you got a photograph of somebody's child circulating all over YouTube and Facebook and so on and so forth. And this isn't the child. So you have to think about everything. Every aspect of a case. And so far, everything that we have seen pertaining to Sebastian is grimy. Grimy parents arguing back and forth, bickering, jumping on YouTube panels. Today they're up, tomorrow they're down. Today they're together, tomorrow they're separated. Allegations of child abuse, neglect on the mother's part from Seth. The father getting an idea of how his child was treated just by listening to YouTube content, which is fucked up. Do you know how embarrassing that would be to go on TV, on court TV, and say to Vinnie Politan that I didn't know what was going on with my kid at that house where he was living with my ex-wife and her husband until I watched a YouTube TV show. Because now YouTube is, to me, with the YouTubers, this is like a TV show. You know, this is a $2 ass Tubi specials. Yeah, I said it. $2 TV shows. Running, hour for hour, talking to these people, and you're asking yourself, how in the world are we talking about people missing? And it's all over at YouTube. It just looks bad. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting to reach out to the people to say, you know, hi, would you like to speak to me? Talk to me about your sister, your brother, your child. But this isn't what you want. But this is what happens when you're dealing with people you don't know anything about. And you're allowing them to come up on your platform and talk endlessly about this and that. And before you know it, they start telling you things that you weren't expecting because you don't know them. And then the next thing you have to ask yourself, is this what I'm listening to should be playing out on YouTube? Because this is bad. And I'm sure it's criminal at this point because a lot of negative things have been said by Mr. Seth pertaining to the parents, K and C. So it ain't good. It ain't good. Because the child was still in the care of Katie Proudfoot and her husband, Christopher. And we have a very vocal, brash, ignorant human being talking about this boy child and releasing things to the public that are not so nice. And let's also ask the obvious question. If it is true about the child wearing diapers, why would this boy child be wearing adult diapers? Why in the world would a boy child at 16 years of age be wearing diapers? You want me to believe in my right mind that this boy child was going to school wearing diapers? I don't see that would even be allowed in a high school. See, this is why I tell you nobody listens to the information. Why would the school administration allow your child who's able-bodied to walk and talk, comprehend somewhat of ABC's English, and allow him or her to wear a damn diaper to school? I'll wait. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. We also hear that Mr. Proudfoot is not pleased with some of the YouTubers I saw where allegedly he's had some not so nice things to say about Mr. Dolly and whatever Mr. Dolly's content is. Don't know. I don't go over there to imbibe into the content often. One YouTuber saying, this is the place to come to get the information. It's only the place to get the information in your mind. Because you were down there circling around, you know, on the ground. But ain't nothing that most of you all have found down there on the ground has brought anything to the case. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just telling the truth. It's just a bunch of he said, she said. Anybody can go walk around and stand outside somebody's house, stand outside somebody's job, stand outside a camper because you found information where they were. Okay. And then what? What did I tell you about that? Okay, you found out where they were staying in Mississippi. Now what? They're staying in a camper. And what? Neighbors coming out 2 months later. Let me tell you about what happened on this day. So now let's ask that question. Did you go call the police with this information? Or you turned on YouTube and saw all the people talking and making all this content about this case and decided to reach out to a YouTuber, or the YouTubers reached out to these people? Because I believe one of the other networks said they walked around or talked to the neighbors, went from door to door. Well, I find that interesting that nobody went door to door in the beginning. Why not? You got a certain YouTuber, he's always talking about what he knows about the case. He's the go-to channel for the information. Well, I never heard him talking about, he talked to the neighbors and what they had to say months ago. Now, all of a sudden, somebody's gone to talk to them. And I also want to address this too in this live stream, because I'm really just befuddled with this bullshit. Why are you arguing with Christopher Proudfoot on a live stream? Please help me understand. Because some of you have said that to me over the years. Woo, honey, I sure wish you talked to him, Queen. I sure wish you talked to Donna Wells. I sure wish you talked to Candace, Queen. You know I don't rock like that. You know I don't get down like that. Anybody that follows this network know how I am. I don't get down with that type of nonsense. The only reason that you would really want to talk to any of these people once they have gotten on TV and YouTube panels to lie and change the story 12 times, it would just really be for likes and views. That would be the only logical reason to talk to either of these parents at this point. That's just common sense. You've talked to 5, 6 YouTubers. What is it that you're going to say to me that's going to be of any relevance? If I've seen that you changed your version from the news to Court TV to Nancy Grace to this YouTuber, that YouTuber, how is it that if you come over to my network, there's going to be something of relevance and substance that's going to come off your tongue? There isn't. It'll just be for the views. That's all. Because if you will lie to get the child missing, there's nothing you're going to say to me on my network that is of substance. Because it won't be the truth. And that's the thing I don't understand about these YouTubers. You keep going on and on and on. Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Why the fuck is he going to tell you what happened? Now, what if you find out that's not Sebastian Rogers in that footage? Let's say the boy is dead. He's not alive. Let's just say. Why are you going to keep beating the brow of a psychopath? That's why it's called psychopath. They're not going to tell you, yeah, I killed him. I killed him because I'm sick of him. I don't want to deal with him anymore. Are you satisfied now? Who's going to do that? This is why you know that most of you all are just as crazy as these fucking people. Donna Wells, Proudfoot, that Soto case, all of this, the West case in California. You people are nutty as fuck. sit up here and keep arguing with somebody about a 16-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid. Tell me what you did. Tell me what you did. I want you to tell me the truth. I need to know. If you could hear yourself, sound fucking ridiculous. All this back and forth. Court TV, News Nation, YouTube land. And yet you still don't have any information. So we're going to wait and see what officials have to say about the photograph and the footage pertaining to this male who resembles Sebastian Rogers. Now let's go into the belly of the beast. Let's say that is Sebastian Rogers. Now what? Now what? What's going to happen now? Number one, where is he going? Not to his parents' house. Number two, the person who has Sebastian Rogers. What have they told the police? How they got the child? Stay woke. Just like when some of you were saying, oh, I think they put him in a facility. It's still fraud. You want me to believe these people put their child in a mental facility for the disabled adults, and they put his government name on the paperwork. You put your government name on the paperwork, and then you go file a missing persons report as if the people who have your child is not going to see the news and say, wait a minute, he's not missing, he's here with us. Please just stop it. Hello, Pinta. This is what I tell people. You got to think. I'm not getting ready to put my child in a facility and then go report him missing, knowing the people who have him watch the news. Some of them watch YouTube. North Carolina is right next door to Tennessee. Where are you people from? Did you all not know that Tennessee connects to North Carolina? Eastern part of Tennessee connects to North Carolina. It's just over the mountain. You're in North Carolina. I'm going to put my child in a facility and then go say he's missing. As if the people at the facility aren't going to go call 911 and say, oh, we have the child here. And then there will be a criminal investigation for fraud, filing a false report. God forbid she's getting any type of care for him, monies. But then wouldn't that place get the monies? Because anytime you send a person into assisted living, nursing home, any money that the person was getting from the government, Social Security, disability, that goes to the facility. Ding, ding, ding. Damn. It's like, what planet is everybody from? This is why I don't listen to this bullshit pertaining to this kid. Because nobody's paying attention. Just talking. Oh, he's with the sister. Oh, he's with her sister. Oh, then they say she comes from a crime family. Katie Proudfoot. Well, is she a criminal? Just asking. Because the flip side would be, well, you can't judge her family. She's not her family. Well, don't judge Katie, rather. Don't judge Katie because she comes from people who have broken the law. I mean, everybody has somebody in their family that's broken the law. What's your point? Bring a receipt. First, you got to prove that's Sebastian. He's in the care of her sister or in the care of Seth's sister. Which is it? I can't keep up. The link is in the chat if you want to join the queen to give your opinion pertaining to this mulberry bush of versions pertaining to this boy child. Every other week, it's more nonsense pertaining to Sebastian Rogers, which should show you, yes, he did not have a good home life. Because if you didn't hear such negative things, you might think he just ran off. But then you have to say, the flip side of that, why would he run off? If he has a good life, what reason would a child have to run off? And it's not to say that children don't run away, whether they're mentally undeveloped or not. They have their own free-thinking mind. Sometimes children don't like to obey the rules. So they take off. So let's ask that question. Was the child difficult? Too difficult to maintain? Is there somebody at the schoolhouse that can tell us that the child was difficult? He had a problem obeying the rules, obeying the lessons, wouldn't sit still. As you heard Mr. Proudfoot say, he got into people's personal. What are we talking about? An unruly child that ran away? An unruly child that they no longer wanted to deal with? Chris gave his wife an ultimatum? Or the mother just said she was tired of dealing with them? It's a combination of all of the above. Too difficult to deal with, tired of dealing with him. The husband don't want to deal with him. The mother didn't want to deal with him. What is the truth? I have a guest here. All of the above. Jackie, where are you talking from? The husband don't want to deal with him. The mother cut your background down, sweetheart. I have a guest here. Jackie. You need to cut your background down.
How do I do that?
Listen, cut your background down. Don't have anything playing in the background, sweetheart. You need to cut your background down.
I'm trying.
Yeah, turn your TVs off. Turn your TVs off. Listen, cut your YouTube openings. She'll come back up. Jack says she don't believe it's him. Take the polls, everybody. Take the polls. Do you believe it's Sebastian? Let's go into Justice Warriors investigations. This is the investigation company that was investigating helping Seth with the woman that's taken a step back. Where I have a problem with this information is that I went into their page to see who they are, and they say private investigator, P.O. Box 691223, Town Center Parkway, Spring Hill, VIC, Australia. So where are you all located? Then it says you service Chattanooga, Nashville, and Memphis. Help me understand. Did you come from Australia and open up a company here in Tennessee? I'm confused because I'm going to ask those questions. Justice Warrior Investigations, formerly HMC Investigations, is a full-service private investigative agency in Nashville, Tennessee. However, we are available to provide private investigative services statewide. Our objective is to provide our clients with current and accurate information and also to assist them on making a positive personal and business decision. We are dedicated to provide our clients with the most accurate information in a timely manner. No matter what the case is, we will deliver the results you need. We look forward to working with you. Our primary mission is to provide investigative services utilizing our wide range of resources. We pride ourselves on providing our services with reliability, responsibility, and expedience in the most cost-effective way. And then it gives you the number you can call for a free consultation. I believe it's for 30 minutes. What I want to know is, as I said, did this company originate in Australia? Who owns the company? Are they Australian? Yes. What do you charge? Did you do this pro bono for Mr. Seth Rogers, or did he pay you a finder's fee to start investigating the disappearance of his child? And how is Mr. Seth paying or was paying you at the time? I'm curious. Have people been donating money? Just asking all relevant questions. They just posted 3 minutes ago. A man without ethics is wild beast loosed upon this world. Albert Cummins. Interesting. Whew. So I'm going to briefly run through their statement on their Facebook page, why they're no longer involved in this case. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go in the middle. Facebook is the source if you need verification. Now, I did successfully open a line of communication between myself and the Proudfoots, and I was trying my very best to diffuse the situation. However, I was unable to do so. Therefore, someone else needed to step in. I wish him the very best, and I agree that although Transparency with the public is necessary to some degree. In this case, there are things that are better kept close to the vest. I'm going to comment on one thing regarding Katie. I don't know what happened February 26, 24, the day that Sebastian seemingly vanished into thin air. However, I've seen some things said about her past that breaks my heart. She's being chastised over something that she had no control over. Unfortunately, we don't get to choose our parents. Please try to have some empathy, at least pertaining to that aspect of all of this. That's all I'm going to say about that. Well, what you have to ask yourself, if you're talking about the SA allegation in California, I don't know what Katie knew and didn't know. I don't know what Katie knew about the person who was hanging around her boy child, as far as the boy who molested him, allegedly. I don't know anything about the person who was also the pedophile that was the adult. So you have to know the people and you have to know their head space. And you don't know a person's head space to say what they knew and did not know about, especially the adult. Did she know that the guy was a pedophile that was hanging around her child? You got to prove it. So I understand this woman's commentary. Well, maybe she didn't know. I don't know, because I don't know Katie Proudfoot. I don't know Christopher Proudfoot. What I do know is what I have seen of them lately, I don't care for. I don't like the avoidance from the mother. I don't like the fact that Christopher Proudfoot has been the orchestrator of the good news and he wasn't there allegedly with the child or the mother. I don't like the fact that he's on everybody's YouTube channel talking in circles and riddles and arguing with the YouTubers, and the YouTubers stupid enough to be arguing back with them. I'm not going to argue with you on my network. For what? I'm the overseer of the channel. That's something a fool does. You're going to argue with a psychopath, sociopath. So, as I said, in my opinion, it's for views. The people have gotten up on TV and told you different versions and keep adding different things about the child, and then you're going to act like they owe you an explanation to where the child is. This makes no sense to me. And then people run back. Oh, you should hear what they said over there. You mean go listen to another lie? Honey, I'm getting old. I don't have time for this. And you'll hear people tell you, nobody has time to sit through 4 or 5 hours of live streams of lies and gossip. As one woman said on T-Rev's channel last night, well, I don't work. I stay at home. Exactly. There are people who work. They don't have time to sit here and go through live streams, long-winded. And I realize I get more views doing a 15-second short because there's people who don't want to sit through hours of you going on and on about content. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But everybody can't sit through hours and hours of lives. You just can't do it unless you just have really nothing to do with your time. And even if you didn't work, who the hell wants to just sit there for hours? It gets old. Hell, it gets old for me just doing it for hours. I tell myself, hey, you got to cut this down. This is absolutely ridiculous. Hell, most of the people don't watch the content any damn way. They argue with everything you say, bicker about everything you say. You can't please them. I was watching a YouTube video. Miss Robeson, I follow her. She's a decorator out of California. She lives in Oklahoma now, and she does consultations now for her live streams. She said it. Nothing you do pleases the people. They come in complaining. Well, why don't you do videos about small apartments or tiny houses? And she says, well, I put the link and tell them, well, you can go watch this on this day to fit your needs. But today I'm talking about this. That's exactly the point. You can never please anybody, period. Whether you're a YouTuber or not, there's always a complaint. And frankly, when you're talking about true crime, it's unsettling the content that comes out on the YouTube channels. The barbaric behavior of the people in the story. This is why you know that 9 times out of 10 the people aren't alive. Because if you look at the way the people are behaving that are talking about the child or the brother, the sister, the wife, you're asking yourself, what the fuck is this here? Oh, hell no. I don't think they're alive. Look at how they're talking, how they're acting, what they're not doing. And as one law official said the other day on somebody's content, it's easy to judge. He says, I've been wrong. watching the parents' behavior. They don't seem to be in tune to the child missing or, found deceased, and it had nothing to do with it. And that's true. Because I thought that of a couple in South Carolina a few years back. I covered a story of a little girl that went missing, and the parents wouldn't talk to the news, and I automatically assumed they were involved. She's outside for an hour playing. Whole hour. The mother says it. Yeah, she's out there for an hour. I didn't go outside, check on her. Well, long story short, roped off the streets. Nobody could come or go. It was the neighbor down the street. He had lured the little girl into his apartment, sexually assaulted her, murdered her, and then he later, if I'm not mistaken, he unalived himself. So you see, sometimes people aren't good at talking on the news, but I always say, get somebody to speak because it's how it looks. I've said that about a case here in Knoxville. The mother rarely speaks about her older son missing. It's always the grandmother speaking. But then the other day they did a news video where the mother waits to speak at the end, and then she decides to throw in about his past. So then I started thinking, oh shit, here we go. You've never said anything about his past before during a news video interview. Why now are you mentioning that? You shouldn't have said that. Because now people are going to wonder. You don't ever even talk in the news interviews. Now you're talking about his past shouldn't have anything to do with it. Shouldn't have anything to do with what? Who said anything about his past? I haven't even heard a reporter even say anything about his past. I never heard the grandmother say anything about him having a past. So now you're going to make people think that maybe somebody did something for revenge. So what did he do in his past? See where I'm going? This is why you have to be careful about what you speak in a news interview, YouTube, podcast, somebody's podcast. You have to be very careful what you mention because once you put that information out there, you can't take it back. So like I said, yes, it's easy to judge the Proudfoots because they don't seem in tune to the boy. You're hearing ugly things about the relationship or what the boy was allegedly doing, his bathroom behavior, allegations of abuse from Mr. Proudfoot towards the child, CPS involvement, allegations of sexual abuse against by another child when he was a smaller kid living in California. Seth not in tune to what's going on in the house, which is baffling to me. So then I have to ask myself, was this child not talking to his father and telling him how he felt? But then we also hear he told, I believe, Court TV, the boy didn't want to go home when he came to visit him. So then I have to say, well, why didn't you tell us the last time Sebastian told you that? February, January, December, November? When did the child tell you he didn't want to go back to the Proudfoots? Because I would have then went to the Proudfoots. See how everything's left open? That's why I hate when people talk and they don't finish the damn sentence. When? Court TV, you got to ask the questions. Mr. Seth, when did you have this conversation with your son? Was he crying when he told you? Was he visibly upset when he told you? Did you go talk to the Proudfoots? Ding, ding, ding. Damn, what is the problem? I'm not going to sit here and let my child tell me they don't want to go back home to their mother and stepfather, and then I don't ask the child questions. Okay, now you got to ask that. Did he ask Sebastian questions? Why don't you want to go back? What's the problem? Are they abusing you? Are they hurting you? What's the matter? Then I would have went straight to her when I dropped my child off, or if they did a meetup. Hey, I need to talk to you all. My son says he doesn't want to come home. I want to know, is it safe for me to bring him back? I think I'd have done that before even bringing him back. Hey, I want to know what's going on with my child. My child doesn't feel safe with you, or he has concerns about this. I would have repeated it verbatim. And frankly, so not to have any problems with custodial business and judges, I would have let the child tell the Proudfoots his concerns in front of Seth. You don't do that he said, she said shit with kids. Because this is how it becomes a tug of war in court. Well, he said and she said and the child said, Everybody gets in a room on a recording, and then you let the child speak on speakerphone with the father there, and you record the conversation. That way, if it ever goes back to court, you have a recording to say, we all got on the phone or video chatted and talked about the allegations of why my child did not want to go back home. So see, Seth, you should have been more vigilant, because I don't hear that in your conversations that you have done with Court TV. You don't finish the conversations. This is what my child told me. This is what I asked my child. This is how my child responded. I went to the Proudfoots to see why my child didn't want to go back. I told the Proudfoots he ain't coming back. See, you don't hear none of that. Now we got a whole visual of the kid, and we don't hear anything from law enforcement. And we're not going to hear anything from law enforcement. You're not going to get another breaking news story until they decide, one, if that's the child. And as I said before, just imagine that's not the child. Now, let me get back to what I was saying from this Justice Warrior investigations. Okay, once again, she's talking about opening up a line of communications with the Proudfoots, and that she wished them the very best and feels like transparency is necessary. She also talked about the issue with Katie and the allegations about the boy child, and that she felt like Katie didn't have anything to do with what happened to the boy, the sexual assault. Lastly, I've seen many asking if I'm still working for Seth. With recent developments and with Mr. Mathis taking over, I'm stepping back. Justice Warrior Investigations services are always available to him if and when he needs us. See, I have a problem right there. Well, when you step back, what was the conversation? Because naturally, she doesn't have to tell us everything that was said and done between she, Seth, and this other Mr. Mathis. Was there a powwow? She doesn't want to tell us. Did Seth tell her he didn't need her? Did she decided to just go on her own and leave him be? But you hear her say, if he needs her, she'll be there. So what did she see in the situation with Seth, Mr. Mathis, and this new information from North Carolina for her to step back? I think it's more than her thinking the FBI is involved. The FBI, I believe, was involved anyway. So that's neither here nor there. I think she saw Mr. Mathis was over leading the investigation, Seth allowing him, which was not maybe making room for her. I could be wrong. And she decided, well, I'm just going to back on out. I'm not here to fight and play, tug of war and clout chase off a missing kid, which is the noble thing to do. Okay. But to answer your question, we're no longer under a retainer. We do believe that the photo of Grandfather Mountain is Sebastian. Now, that's interesting. So she's saying herself that her company, believes that is Sebastian Rogers in the photograph. And until we know one way or another, there isn't much we can do. If it is Sebastian, this will become a federal case, and we will be thrilled for the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, to take the lead. This would be the best development yet. As a private investigator, we can do a lot to help the case along, but we do not have the ability to get warrants, and that is what is needed to gather evidence necessary to find Sebastian. # find Sebastian. We will continue to follow the case closely and share updates as they are released to the public. We love Sebastian and will continue to pray for his safe return. Respectfully, Heather. And this is from Justice Warrior Investigations. Feel free to go to their Facebook account to get the said information. So we have a few people that work for this agency, a Heather, I saw a Tony, and I also saw another person's name. So who is the owner of this investigation company? I'm curious. So basically she was apologizing to everyone for seeming vague, and she did not want people to think that she ghosted them by not responding to messages. And she says, Tracy and I came into this case April 15th. My style of investigating is in-your-face tactic that is meant to draw people out and get to the bottom of what is going on. We walked into a SHIT storm that had been brewing for some time, and things got really out of hand. Aside from the public outbursts on wet sleuths, the public did not know what had occurred behind the scenes. What the public saw was the tip of the iceberg, and I was becoming extremely concerned about how far things would go Whether any of it actually had anything to do with Sebastian is debatable. Some say yes and some say no. Regardless, some people need to step in who could calm the storm, and that person is Tony Mathis. Okay? And then that's what she goes on to talk about trying to get communication with the Proudfoots and how is that working. So, Justice Warrior Investigations. Are you all still talking to the Proudfoots? Number one. Are you still talking to Seth Rogers? Does he still reach out to you and let you know what's going on? Seth Rogers, where is this investigation going? We got information that you have spoken to a YouTuber, and basically you're saying nothing has been told to you, revealed to you about the validity of the photograph and the footage. You have gone to North Carolina, which was a good thing, because I would have gone there as well. This is my child. I'm going to go. Let me see. But nobody's telling him anything. What has he learned since being on the YouTube channel? What has Seth Rogers learned about the photograph? Is it his child or not? If it is his child, whose company is he in? And why is he there? And why would you lie, Katie Proudfoot, that your child is missing? You better hope for your sake, because you'd have to be the stupidest motherfucker breathing to file a false report that your child is missing, waste resources from Hendersonville, TBI, local officials, knowing your child is alive and in the company of your sister, brother, cousin, or whomever. But it has been done before, and it will be continue to be done by sick, depraved individuals. We had Sherry Papini pretend to be kidnapped by Mexican women, and it was false. She went to prison. We had this crazy-ass black girl down in Alabama last summer pretending to be kidnapped by a white man and a white woman. That was false. Many people have lied about abductions, kidnappings, either for themselves or for their children. And they later were found to be false, later found to be unalive, such as children. And many people will say their children were abducted because they murdered the children. And they got to come up with something because somebody has been nosing around asking about where is their child. So I'm going to ask the Proudfoots, if indeed this is your child, why in the hell would you go lie and say your child is missing, knowing it will come out that he's alive? Because there's no way, as I told people, he was in a facility. The facility would have to do due diligence to tell the truth that the child is not missing. You can't have somebody in your facility, you're getting monies from them, from the state or whomever to take care of them, perhaps, and then you know that they're missing and the child is on an Amber Alert. That would be fraud for you willingly keeping the child and not reporting the child alive, number one. So both is number one and number two. You would be liable as the caretaker in a facility, and the Proudfoots will be liable for filing the false report and lying to the news. Lying to the police, lying to the news, FBI, whomever they talk to. This is what I'm trying to explain to you that I think most of you who pay attention already know. If you lie about one thing, you'll lie about another. If you lie over here to the news, then go to a YouTuber and tell something different, then go to another YouTuber and tell them something different, you should already know there's something bad that has happened to the child. That's how I look at it. And if indeed the child is alive, then you're really dealing with some psycho-ass people who got a whole living kid living with a relative in North Carolina, and they're still playing duck, duck, goose as if the child is missing. Thank you, Diana. Thank you so very much. The link is in the chat if you would like to come up here and give your opinion. If not, I won't hold you all because I'm 1 hour into this live stream, but that's the latest I have pertaining to this debacle, this mulberry bush of storytelling, pictures, photographs, neighbors speaking. Now, neighbors, are you going to talk to News Nation, Court TV, and the local news? Have you also told this information that you told the YouTubers to the local sheriff's department and TBI? If you have not talked to local officials, I will have a problem with whatever the fuck you told. Because going to YouTube is not the answer. It is not the answer. You need to talk to the police. Are you going to show yourselves? Stay woke, everybody. What is the truth to how the child was treated in the care of the Proudfoots? And let's be honest, is the child safe with all three parents? Because I'm not going to just say it's all about the Proudfoots. Because sometimes, as the one detective has said, what you think is going on ain't. And that's true. But all you have to go on are the actions of the people in the story. So I'm going to ask this question because I have every right to ask, because I don't know either parent. Is the child safe in the care of either parent, the Proudfoots and Seth Rogers? Because Seth seems devoid of information and intuitiveness about his child, and that is bothersome to me. And in the beginning, it seems like he is the caring one, was the caring one for the child, the only one out here, looking for the child. He took off from work. But what is bothersome to me about Seth Rogers is that he's not in tune to his child. And he has portrayed that in his news interviews to YouTubers and to the national platforms, and that doesn't sit well with the Queen. I don't understand how anybody could be working in law enforcement and not intuitive of emotions and behavior. If you work corrections, you're a detective, a police officer, district attorney, FBI, U.S. Marshals, Secret Service. You should have intuition. If you don't have that, you're in the wrong line of work. And that's my opinion. There's no way you got a whole child and you don't see the signs that something is wrong with the child and he's not developing properly. So ask yourself this. If he was wearing a diaper at the Proudfoots, you mean to tell me he wasn't wearing a diaper when he spent the weekend with his father? Please help me understand. So Mr. Seth Rogers, you never saw your boy child wearing diapers. I'm confused with all this information. So he's going to his father's. He says, what? I don't need my diapers. I'll leave my diapers here. I mean, help me understand. So then he comes back to the Proudfoots. He puts the diapers back on because he knows he's what? Abused. He's going to use the restroom on himself because they're bullying him, pushing him, hurting him. And I told myself I can't see them putting their hands on him because they know he will go tell somebody else that they were abusing him. And maybe that's why he got gone if he is not alive. Somebody popped off. Also allegations that it was an ultimatum for Katie to do something about her child. So let's ask ourselves this question. Why not just send him back to his father? Your husband and you are having problems, allegedly. He gives you an ultimatum. It's either me or your son. And she says, well, I love you, but I love my son too. Why are you doing this? Why are you asking me to choose? But she still instead chooses Christopher Proudfoot. Why didn't you just call Seth to say, hey, he wants to live with you. I think it would be best that he goes and live with you. And then Seth comes and gets his child. Help me understand. Where are you calling from, Yvonne?
I'm in Arizona still. How are you?
I'm fine. What do you have to say about all of these allegations of everything? I try to name everything I could come up with, but I don't know where to start. Let's start at the top because we'll be all over the place if I don't give you an itemized list. Okay. Let's start with the photo and the footage. Yes or no? It's truth, factual.
No.
Okay. Tell me why.
I don't think so. I think that, like, as you always say, you got to go back to the beginning of the story to find the truth. And that's too far into all the chaos, this image. And so I still, I think if you go back to the beginning, to where he disappeared some point during the night or something like that. She took off early in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and I think she handed him off to, she handed him off to somebody. I don't know who. I don't know who
Okay.
it was,
Okay.
but I do not think that young man is alive. And I don't know if, I don't know where they hit him or how they hit him. It's like the Morphew case. He took her south and dumped her, and he did all that stuff up north, to throw everybody off the scent.
Yeah, of course.
And that's kind of what this whole thing is kind of turning into. It's like all these other things, that, just to kind of murky up the water.
Okay.
And but yeah, so I don't know. I think I think the cops probably know that, and they're just kind of sitting back, being quiet, doing their own investigation, listening and watching what everybody's doing. But
Okay, let me ask you this. Seth allegedly went to North Carolina, but nobody showed him the footage of the boy child. Do you find that strange?
well, they told him that they were told by the authorities not to share the footage because it's under investigation. So I don't know. Maybe I
No,
find
I'm
that.
saying why would they show it to him? He's the father, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because they were told by the authorities not to show it to anybody, not even the parents.
Wow.
But
think about this. Ask yourself, does this make any sense though? A person's child is missing. Wouldn't it be logical to show the footage to say, ma'am, sir, is this your child? I'm just saying. Because how are you going to verify it without me showing you show it to me so I can tell you yes or no?
Yeah,
you got to be able to verify it. Listen, it's just like if you found a body. Somebody has to verify the body, right?
Yeah, and
so what's the difference between that and a picture? Ma'am, sir, is this your son or not? I don't think that's anything wrong because who is the person that you're going to verify if that is the child or not? Somebody has to verify him. So that doesn't make any sense to say they won't show me the footage. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, come on now.
What if but the police might be the ones that want to show him that footage in their time?
That's who I'm speaking of. I'm not talking about a random person.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think the police, if they can see, and that's why I don't think it's real, or I don't think that it's really a real deal or whatever, for whatever reason.
If somebody's missing, the police, they want to get the case closed. So I'm going to definitely say, yeah, come on in. We're going to show you. Is this your kid? Is this your child?
Yeah.
Why would they not? You have to have verification.
Exactly.
So I think they would have done that already.
Right. And that's why I just don't believe that there's anything, really to it, unfortunately.
Exactly.
But the diaper thing, I heard Seth say that the boy did come over to his house in his pull-ups or whatever, and Seth told him, take those things off, get in the shower and put on some sweats, and just don't wear those things over in my house.
Okay, so you heard he's acknowledged seeing the diapers.
Yes, that he came over in his pull-ups.
Okay.
Yes, and he said
makes no sense to me. So he's not talking to the mother why his grown-ass son is wearing diapers.
Well, I think they might have discussed it, or I don't know. Sometimes. Okay, so I have kids that I have that I've been divorced, and I have kids with one father, and I have a couple of kids with another father, and then the way that. But what my point is, what happens at his father's house, I don't have a big say in.
I mean, you're going with that, but that's not that type of situation though. We're not talking about eating ice cream versus potato chips and hamburgers. We're talking about diapers are vital to you keeping your waste out your undergarments and on your clothes. So that's a big thing. So if this goes back to what I've been saying, Yvonne, I don't think he's in tune or he's not telling us everything. There's something off with Seth and his commentary because I just said this. Because I told you, I don't keep up with everything. I don't go to these podcasts, listen to all these interviews and stuff. I don't have that kind of time. Why would I not be asking Katie, why is he wearing a pull-up?
Right.
He
Well,
knows
I
how
mean,
to go to the
obviously,
bathroom.
yeah. I mean, Seth is not probably the sharpest tool in the shed. I mean, he's, you can
Yeah, there's
tell
something
just
off with
by,
him. I'm not trying to be rude, but like they
yeah,
say, we don't know these people. Everybody's judging the Proudfoots, but there comes a point when I've told myself, I know because I'm too old not to know. Seth is too old not to be in tune to his damn son. And there's too many questions that these
well,
people have asked him on court TV. He can't give a damn answer to. That's unacceptable to me.
yeah, and that's why, like you said, I don't think this, even if this kid were alive, which I don't think he is, if he were,
Yeah.
where would he go? Where would he go? I mean, her, her family, they're not acceptable relatives. It sounds like, Chris's family, they've been, criticized and saying that he's just like his mom and all this stuff. So, and
Mhm.
I don't know about Seth's relatives or whatever, but, it doesn't sound like there's any adults around this child that, are, acceptable for parenting him, you know? I don't know. So he would, I mean, what's the point of him coming home? I mean, it would be great if he were alive, don't get me wrong, but where would he go? I
I
mean,
said that 1,000
realistically.
times. He's not going anywhere. Not to no,
Yeah.
no judge is going to allow anybody to have him until they get to the bottom of what the hell is going on with all these people involved.
Yeah. Yep. And but like, I think it's sad because it's just a way to fill the time until they find his body or something. And, who knows? They might not find him. They might not ever find him. It might be 2 or 3 years, like, with Suzanne. I mean, who knows? It's just,
Well,
but
let's
it,
talk
but it
about the
is just a
PI.
big,
Go ahead. Go ahead and
yeah.
finish.
Oh, I was going to say, it is just a big soap opera until then, until
Yes.
something
So
happens.
one, you don't believe the boy's alive. You believe that's somebody else's child. Like I said, nine times out of 10, the police would have to verify it with the parents. The fact that we haven't had no
Mhm.
verification, that would mean it's not the child, perhaps, or there's something else while they're waiting to bring a verification. What that would be, I don't know. Let's talk about the PI. I read you her statement from the PI investigative team. Why do you believe this woman took a step back from Seth
Well,
Rogers' involvement with him in the case? Go ahead, I can hear you.
yeah, I just think that, she said she's not on retainer anymore. So one thing, she's not getting paid. So,
Well, listen, slow down, slow down. Mr. Mathis is getting paid. She reached out. He was on retainer before. The lady was on retainer, her company or whoever she's working for. Think about what you're saying now.
yeah, but she's not on retainer now. She said that, right?
Okay, listen. Did you not hear the statement I read?
I heard it, but maybe I'm not catching it
Okay,
all.
she's watching everything that's happened with this footage.
Mm-hmm.
So her commentary is what it always tell you. Just because I say something don't really mean that's what I meant. I think we know this from talking about true crime. She says the FBI naturally is involved. So I'm taking a step back. And Mr. Mathis is basically in the lead. So what I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
is, could it be that there's some personal rift of Mr. Mathis taking the lead or Seth allowing him to take the lead and they've kind of just pushed her out. So she just decided to go ahead and take a step back because common sense would tell anybody the FBI was going to be involved any damn way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
Whether this picture showed up or not.
hmm And I'm interested in what you read her statement that she said, what was really going on behind the scenes. I mean, what was,
Exactly.
it was just the tip of the iceberg. Like we really didn't know. She could
Because
hardly
we don't.
believe what
Because we don't
yeah.
know it. And that's why I've always said that if you're seeing people being negative on live streams, podcasts, and the news, that's an indicator that there was shit boiling behind the scenes in the first place. Yvonne fell off. That something was going on. That's probably the reason 9 times out of 10 why the child is missing in the first place. It's because shit wasn't right at the house, at the Proudfoots, or with whomever. That's my point. The link is in the chat if you all want to come up and join Yvonne and the Queen. I see you
Yeah,
fell
I'm
off
so
there.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think whatever she saw that was going on behind the scenes that was, underneath the tip of the iceberg, I think that was just something that just, was enough for her to say,
Okay,
and
let's go there. Well, let's go there. What do you think she saw?
I don't know, but unfortunately, I really don't think that it has anything to do. It's not gonna. It doesn't matter because it's not gonna help to find Sebastian. You
Oh,
know,
I think it will. Come on now,
you
Yvonne. Come
you
on
you
now.
do.
It's about she's not there
Well,
because
then,
she's bored.
I know, but then why wouldn't she just say, "Hey, man, we're all on board. Everybody's gonna," she would fight to get along, to
Okay,
fight for
but
her
I
spot.
think I always tell people when you ask a question, think about the question that you're asking. Why would she want to take a step back? Just think about what you're saying. Just think about it.
Well, if it was me, the reason that I would step back is because I would be either out of my depth or or I would, maybe I'm not going to be getting, compensated, and that's my job, and I want to be compensated. Um,
Yeah, because you got to
you
remember,
know,
we don't really know what the financial agreement was because she made a comment on News Nation or one of the programs that she doesn't get involved unless the parent is asking for her services. So that would let
yeah,
you know that Seth had to have reached out to her, excuse me,
right.
for her services. Okay. So then you got to
Yeah.
ask, was this pro bono? Did he pay her? She did it for free. See, we don't know because they're not going to tell you all that. You understand? So that's why
Yeah,
I'm
but she did.
Go ahead.
But she did say she's not on retainer
Yeah, I
anymore.
heard
So
that.
that
I heard
leads
that.
me to believe that he was paying her at some point. But maybe he took the funds and said, like, hey, I want to go with this PI.
Yeah.
And, this PI, he's got a little bit of higher profile with this who's the other case, that Harris kid
Uh-huh.
that he was
Yeah,
trying to
Caleb.
help find or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. And he's
Okay.
a public relations guy. He's a public relations guy. And I think that's not a good thing because that's like, Jean Bonnet, and now we're getting into the McCanns and,
Okay.
all that stuff.
Okay.
It's
Well,
just,
there's a bit of clout chasing that goes on when it comes to investigating, whether you're private eye, TBI, sheriff, and you've seen this with the Summer Wells case. I don't think they wanted outside agencies such as TBI getting involved because they wanted to take the credit. And you're going to have that rift when other people get involved or asked to get involved. And perhaps that's what was going on here. But there's something else that you have not mentioned. You don't find it strange that this would be person number 4 as a PI?
I do find it strange.
Because
Yeah,
that's
I do
what
find
was
it
mentioned. He had
strange.
2 other ones. He fired them, and then he brought on these 2, and now she's gone. She's only been on what, a week or 2 or 2 weeks or a couple weeks? Not that many weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know the actual date.
And I thought that it was strange that she said, I couldn't diffuse all the problems, between the Proudfoots and Seth. Like, she almost, it was like she almost like was defeated, felt defeated or something, some way. And
Well, how are you
I
going to
don't,
diffuse something that's been going on for many years? You can't.
yeah. And you can't, I think that that whole thing with when she was talking to Chris Proudfoot or he came on their that
Lady
one
case.
channel. Yeah.
Sorry. Somebody in the chat talking about he's a crane operator. I can't. You guys are crazy. I'm done.
I know.
Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Now I was just saying that, Chris Proudfoot, if they try to talk to Chris Proudfoot, I mean, he's very, disrespectful to women. And they might have just said, we're not going to talk to this guy anymore. Like,
Mhm.
We can't.
I'm glad she tried, because she knows her job. If she's done the job long enough, she knows I have to be able to talk to people who know the child in order to get answers. So that's common sense. So she doesn't need to have bad blood with Christopher, Katie, just because Seth has ill feelings of what he's seen and heard, on podcasts or whatever. But still, they are the reason for the season. They are the reason the child is not around. So she knows that. She doesn't have to tell us that. So that's one thing I keep trying to tell people when people speak publicly. They do not have to tell their actual thoughts. Sometimes people just talk to just fill the void. Right. I believe that's what Seth was doing in the beginning, until he popped off on court TV about, not giving an F about who knows what, woo, because he had to have seen something is not right. And then what you have to ask yourself, if he's known all along that these people were abusing his child and he didn't do nothing about it. See, you don't know these people. This is why I told myself, when I get a bad feeling about people, when they start talking, I don't get that feeling for nothing. And that's how I felt with Seth. There was something not right with his commentary, to where he seems like he's devoid of understanding, or devoid of asking these people hard questions about his own damn son. We're not talking about your neighbor telling you they had a fight with their wife and you feel strange about asking, well, what happened? This is your son.
Right. Exactly.
And he's missing. And now you're telling me you've heard him say that the boy came to his house in diapers. And nobody doesn't find it fucked up. This is fucked up.
It is.
If I know my child can use the restroom, you don't think I'm going to ask my child, why are you wearing these diapers? And then you telling him to, hold on. You're going to tell him to go put jogging pants on. What is that going to solve when my body is getting used to releasing itself? See, nobody's paying attention. He doesn't have a spare pair of underwear. Now you got to go, buy him some underwear? See where I'm going? Mm-hmm. This is bullshit.
But, the word is that he was supposed to go start living with Seth, right? Like that Chris and Seth were kind of in cahoots together on and off or whatever, trying to get Katie to agree and to let him go over to live with Seth for a while,
And I found that strange.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if it was true or not? I don't know. That's just what, that's what. But that would go to, maybe Seth in the back of his mind or whatever did maybe know that Seth was that Sebastian was suffering over there, and he thought, man, I'm not the best dad or whatever, but I maybe it's my turn to try or something,
Okay, so you got to think about, this is going to be long term. We're not talking about somebody that's getting ready to go off to college and do things. If this boy doesn't have the aptitude to go to college, go work a job, rent an apartment, you are, I don't want to use the word stuck, but you're obligated to take care of him after 16, after 18. See where I'm going? So this is not just come over for the summer, come over for Christmas. You're not going to really take care of a whole grown adult.
Right.
So imagine whatever problems because this is why I tell people, you got to pay attention, because I don't think any of you are really paying attention to what the fuck is really going on. And I'm not trying to be rude, but nobody's really listening. Think about this. If they got problems with the boy, what problems is he going to have trying to have a life taking care of a now 18-year-old man? Are you now following me?
Oh, so just bump him. So just bump him off because he's just going to be a lifelong problem.
He is a problem. That's why he's gone.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's really paying attention. This is why a lot of times I don't even respond to stuff when people talk, because I keep telling people, you're not even paying attention. If the shit is sitting in front of you, you don't even see it. How is Seth going to navigate with a whole adult? He's not going to be a kid in 2 more years. So even if he's alive, you're still obligated to take care of a whole damn adult that can't function out here on his own. So what starts off as, well, I'll take him because it ain't working out with Katie and Chris. What about when you decide you want to date? You want to get married? You'll be going down the rabbit hole just like what Katie went through with Chris. Now, are you following me?
Yep.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to make people understand. It's deeper than just he ain't getting along with Katie and Chris. Even if he goes over to Seth, I don't know how to explain it to people. The boy is almost grown. If he can't go out and navigate, Seth is obligated to take care of a whole human being until the boy perishes. Is he equipped to do that? Because if the boy is not going to work a job, go to school, get a trade, Seth has to work a job. See where now you see where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now. Is he good enough to leave at home alone? Can he cook himself something without burning down the house? See?
Yeah, those are all questions that we don't know the answers to.
Nobody's asking those questions because everybody's right now just the Proudfoots. But I always tell people, always think about long term. Nobody thought about him going over there to live with Seth and Seth being obligated to take care of a grown-ass man from here on out. What that's going to entail. Because if you have not done it, you don't know what it's like to take care of a disabled adult. People don't want to take care of adults who aren't disabled. Let's be truthful. There are a lot of people, let's keep it real. There's people out here right now who have grown-ass kids in their house that they can't get rid of or they don't want to get rid of because they feel obligated and you feel in tune. And before you know it, what starts off at 18 is now 25-year-old. The 25 is now 35. 35 is now 40. You have no privacy. You're taking care of them. You're feeding them. You're paying phone bills. Now do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Somebody's disabled. They're acting out. They're having mood swings. They're violent. They're punching holes in the walls. I mean, I watched this shit a month ago thinking to myself, this is a lot to deal with. So we don't really know all the things that are wrong with Sebastian. We don't really know if he acts out or not. Because for all we know, Katie and Chris have not told us the truth. What if we find out the boy is really violent? He growls when he's upset. Well, what if we find out that he likes to bite, he likes to kick, he likes to stomp, he likes to punch holes in the wall? Now, are you following me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, naturally, there's no logical reason to kill a person because they are mentally disabled. But I'm trying to make people understand that it's way deeper than just if they unalive him or he's alive, he goes to the father, stays with the father. The father is still obligated to take care of a young person that's going to be an adult in 2 years, and then he will be obligated to take care of him. Is Seth going to have the fortitude to take care of a mentally disabled child that's now an adult? Because if you haven't done it, you don't know if you can do it or not. You can tell yourself, I'll take my kid in. You see where I'm going?
Yeah, you can try. You can say, I can do it, but that until reality sinks in.
Exactly.
And
then you realize, I see what they were dealing with. Not excusing Katie or Chris abusing the boy, but what if the boy has some violent tendencies? He acts out. Well, he would probably do the same over there. If maybe, let's say he didn't get his way or the father said something he didn't like. See, I don't know because I don't know the child and I don't know how he was interacting and how he was getting along with Katie and Chris. And I don't know really how he navigates along with Seth.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I know Seth was saying that he, wanted to, of course he wanted to have him and everything. And
right.
That he and Chris were trying to, make that happen. And I don't know, it seemed like they were implying, or Seth was implying that Katie was, gonna allow that, but that's why he couldn't understand why this would happen, why they would, anything nefarious would happen to him, because, they could have just given him over to Seth and they wouldn't have had to do that.
So the flip side would be, if this is all true with the boy going over to the fathers in the summer permanently, it would have to be financial. That's the other option. It was financial. I don't want to be obligated. He's still under 18. He may want me to pay child support because that is her biological child. By law, she is obligated to help take care of her child.
Hmm. But you know what? Didn't Seth say, we didn't. She and I didn't kind of have that kind of agreement. Just if he needed something, she would call me and I would get it for him or whatever. And like he didn't pay, child support per se, and he wasn't going to expect her to pay child support per se either. So I don't think it was a financial, problem that they were going to
Okay, well,
have.
then if that's how you feel, then why is he gone?
That's the $1 million question, as
Because
somebody else
think
said.
about what you're saying. If it's not about child support and her having to pay child support while he's in Seth's care up until 21, and if he doesn't go to school, because that's a state law in Tennessee, you still have to pay up till 21 if they go to college or trade. Then you kill them for what reason? Then you kill them for what? They killed them for what reason?
What if it was an accident? What if it was an accident?
I don't know.
And she just
the mother got upset. He was acting out. She strangled him, beat him.
Either that or, something happened that was accidental that, it even he could have accidentally done something to himself. Have you thought about that? Like he could have accidentally.
You think the child would unalive himself?
You know how they say sometimes, kids get bullied and they'll, even kids younger than him have hung themselves in their closet or.
Well, I would see him doing that. I would see him doing that right after something bad would have happened from school, not on a weekend where he's out having fun, eating popcorn. No.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying,
I would have seen him doing it right when he got home, or running away after school.
Yeah, I see it. I see in my mind something accidental happening, and she's trying to cover it up. She tried to, get rid of the body. That's
maybe. Well, so what do you think? They were on their way home. There were some words spoken. He was acting out. I don't want to go home. And what? You can't beat a child while driving the car.
Yeah. No, I know that, but I can't. I can't envision in my mind what actually happened. I wish I could. I would know. But, to me, it just seems like, whatever happened that night, there's something that happened in the night. And I think that she had, she left early in the morning. It was still dark. And that's the other thing. Is she on video leaving her garage?
That's what I'm going to ask you. Do you believe the boy made it home from the restaurant?
I do. I think he made it home from the restaurant. I think something happened in, that night at some way.
So nobody's come forward to say they saw her car coming out of the garage.
Yeah. And that's my question. Is like, because somebody did, she said, right? She said that she came out, she went to the school looking for him, and it was like 6:30 in the morning or sometime after 6, and then she called Chris and,
Do you believe that? Do you believe she went to the school?
No.
Okay.
I think that she left the house with the body and, she met somebody, either his mom, because I heard that there was another vehicle that was there that was supposedly his mother's. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I hear a lot of hearsay.
Yeah, it's hearsay. Yeah, so,
I'm not going to tell you that.
Nothing is
admit to that.
Nothing is confirmed, but
well, let's talk about the neighbors.
I don't think she left. I don't think she left the house to go look for him at the school at 6:30 in the morning. No.
Okay. So you know that when you tell things like that, it can be debunked if there are surveillance cameras on your own house and neighbors' houses, doorbell cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So why tell it if you know that somebody can come back and say that you lied? But see, that's the gist of the story. They know the police are not going to come back and tell us that. That's why I keep trying to tell people. The version I give the reporter versus a YouTuber is not the version I gave the police. This is why I keep trying to tell people. Nobody pays attention. I don't have to tell you what I told the police. This is why the Proudfoots keep telling you different shit because what they told the police ain't what they're telling the YouTubers. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, but in a way, I think that's why it's good that, you know, you have YouTubers that, you know, talk about it like you and all these other ones, because, you know, the YouTubers are the ones that see the lies. And I mean, so do the cops, I'm sure, because they're listening. They see what they're saying on YouTube.
Yeah,
But
because
that's
they know
how
the
you,
police are never going to talk. They know this. This is why you have discrepancies with the Proudfoots in interviews. It's because they know the police is never going to come out and tell you anything that they told them. You understand what I'm saying? They know that. So I can
yeah,
go to the YouTuber and spin any narrative I want and tell you I passed a polygraph, I did this, the camera wasn't working. They know you're never going to find out what the fuck happened until there's an actual arrest and they bring out the affidavit.
yeah.
What's in the affidavit? Let me ask you this. Do you believe the version from the neighbors of the pressure washer incident? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Lady K. Hold on. Go ahead, Yvonne.
Oh, I can believe it. I can't believe it.
No.
I wouldn't
Do you
doubt it.
believe, listen, do you believe he sprayed the child with a pressure washer? Yes or no?
I have to say yes.
Okay. Lady K, where you
Because I
calling
think
from?
I
Go ahead, Yvonne.
I was just saying, and then I'll let Lady Case
No,
go. And
finish your comment. You believe it because
I,
what?
I believe it because I just think that he from the way that he talks, he doesn't have a lot of love or respect for
Okay.
that boy.
Okay. 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 Lady
So
K.
anyway, I have an appointment, sweetie,
Okay,
but
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna
Thank you for joining
yeah,
me, honey.
okay. I'll talk to you
Okay.
again soon.
Okay,
Okay,
sweetie.
bye.
Bye-bye. Lady K, where you calling me from?
South Florida, baby. How are you, Miss
I'm
Queen?
fine. Thank you so much. Lady K, a lot has been said the past 2 months. We've had so many allegations of pants, eyeglasses, landfill, flashlights, dump trucks. None, all debunked so far by law enforcement. PIs hired, fired. This Warrior Investigations, the lady has taken a step back. Let me ask you about that first. Why do you think the lady's taking a step back? Or do you believe she
Well,
was fired? She fell out. It was some clout chasing. What do you think happened?
I think, in my opinion, because I watched the interview with the new gentleman that's the new sheriff in town,
Mr. Matthews.
and I watched that last night, and he
Okay.
seems like he likes to kind of control the narrative and what's
Okay.
said.
Okay.
And I think that the PI, Heather, I think her name is, I could be mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she's a lady not to be silenced and told what and when and how, you see.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that there might be a conflict of personalities
Okay.
and, who's doing what. And that's just my opinion.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you think she also noticed that there may be some fraud on behalf of the parents? That's including Seth and the Proudfoots.
Oh, some fraud. You know what? That didn't really come off to me that like that. I haven't even really thought in that area about the fraud. So, I don't think so. I think it's personality. I think that because he was very clear that Seth was not going to be doing any interviews unless he basically approves of it.
Okay. Okay. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that the community, the drama, true crime community kind of fell in love with Seth's personality.
Yeah.
And that's why they kept having him on, because he was open and honest.
Right.
And just came on,
not combative like Chris Proudfoot.
Right. And they kind of stood behind it. But now I watch some YouTube, other people, and they are now like, hey, Seth, why did you need a PR person what is his qualifications?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean? Why? So
well, do you think he did due diligence with learning things about his son, being in tune to what was wrong with his son? Because I asked all those questions with Yvonne, if you were listening, that the diaper situation, the boy didn't want to go home. Do you think he talked to the Proudfoots about what was wrong with his child, asked his child questions, or you think he was aloof about what was going on with the Proudfoots?
I think that now he did mention this is just how I interpreted the conversation that I watched, was he has spoke with the Proudfoots. They're not as forthcoming with the information as he'd like them to be,
Of
but
course.
there is a line of communication open.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much where he left it. He said that he wouldn't speak about the Proudfoots in a negative manner because that's not going to get us anywhere. But I wanted to know who the guy was, right? So I kind of looked into the guy. I'm like, well, who is this guy? I've never seen him around, these streets before. And I looked him up on LinkedIn and everything, and he doesn't have any qualifications that says that he's a PR person, or he's had some college education, but like, I wasn't really joking, like being funny. He is an ex-car salesman, and he
Okay, I
does
saw that.
heavy, so I was like,
so take the queen into the abyss. What are his motives?
oh, that's a rabbit hole. I haven't let my mind go down. I'm sure that there
Well,
is.
go down it. Well, enlighten me. Go down it.
I think that, okay, in my opinion,
Hey, because you put it out there, he's a car salesman, and somebody says about a crane operator. I thought, where the hell are we going with this?
Well,
oh, Jesus. Next, you're going to tell me he's the manager at Chick-fil-A.
Well, girl, I mean, my husband is a heavy machines operator, and he isn't going to go out here and try to be a PR person, honey.
Oh, Lord.
That's
I don't know, Diana.
So, what is his?
Where do you work? Chick-fil-A? Oh, yeah, come on board.
Yeah,
free chicken sandwiches. Because they do
I don't know. I think it might just be, he might be an older person that's a little bored. I don't.
Girl, you crazy.
I mean, I don't think there's a lot of money though.
All jokes aside, you open up Pandora's box now. Then what is the motivation? Why would Seth bring in somebody that does not have credentials in PR, doesn't have a degree in public relations, does not work in any type of organizations where they have missing children? You see where I'm going? If you're not working for an organization, you're finding missing people, why would I choose you to be my spokesperson? Is he also going to abide by what this man wants? Because he likes talking to Vinnie Politan, News Nation. Let's keep it real.
Oh, yeah, he does. So, since we're going down the rabbit hole, the person that he's helping, apparently he works with a relative of that missing person, and he decided to step up for the family and speak. And that's the only case in my knowledge that he has done.
Say what now?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's over another person's case.
Oh, Caleb Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
And apparently how he got on, now we're going down a rabbit hole, right? So anything I say is just my opinion. Okay. So what was said was that he works with a relative of that missing person. And he offered up to be the spokesperson. And so they let him because they know him. So I'm thinking,
so is Seth knows somebody that knows Caleb's family? Is that what you're saying?
No, how he even started with the Caleb's family was he knew someone, so he just stepped up for the family. And I think,
okay, but how did he find Seth?
I think that he probably reached out to Seth, or someone got him in contact with him
on his own.
Right. And Seth felt comfortable with that because he's already doing one, and maybe has made leeway. I don't know.
Okay, well, ask yourself this. Take a deep breath. What happened to the last two PIs he fires? They won't.
Right. That I think that, in my opinion, it's kind of dirty, just to tossing people away like that when they come out and help you.
Because guess what? We don't know what's really going on. We don't know if people are reaching out on their own to take on the cases pro bono, but these people still got to have money to ride around, talk to people, burn gas, shuffle paperwork. Right. So this is what I was trying to say to Yvonne. How do you know what's the actual financial situation between all of the people? Because it costs to hire somebody to run around looking for a boy or a girl or whomever.
People, you're right, Queen. People may be seeing that GoFundMe sitting at $25,000, and they're thinking, I need a piece of that. It could be. Okay,
and that's exactly. And see, I didn't even know how much that the GoFundMe was. See, that's good information. Thanks for mentioning that. For all we know, you're right. Somebody's out here on the take, and they're seeing, oh, I'll go help and get paid. I'll help them out. They can give me some of that money. Well, 25 G's is going to go real quick.
Oh, exactly.
When you're paying
$25,000 is a lot of money.
$100 an hour, or whatever the fee is.
But they'll take it. But just like, other people, they'll take that money until it's gone and then they'll disappear.
But then guess what? What is he going to live off of? Because my understanding, he didn't ever go back to work. He never went back to work.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for living expenses and
Yeah, and
helping
I'm okay with that because I know this is his child. He wants to find his child. Naturally, he can't conduct himself on a job knowing his child is out here. But then you got to think of the long haul. We're at 2 months. How long is he going to be able to keep his job? See,
exactly.
All of that. He's got to think of that. What about when the money starts getting low and nobody starts donating no more money? Now you can't go back to your job. See where I'm going?
Right. And I think, in my opinion, why Seth keeps on going on the purple guys. I'm not going to say his name, but the one gentleman's stream a lot. Yeah, and I watch him, but I think that he goes on there for the simple fact that his people that watch him, they support him a lot financially.
Okay,
because
I see.
And that's just my opinion, but I watch a lot of YouTube.
You can give your opinion. Trust me, I won't bite you.
Oh no, I'm not very good at that.
But see, that's the thing about this business, and people don't seem to understand that YouTube is a business. Whether you are monetized or not, this is a business. This is a business network. So you start talking about certain cases, it's all a business. No matter how you look at it. Just like this man, he's taking out from work. Well, he's still got to eat. He's still got to pay bills. You don't know if he owns his house or not. You don't know if he's in debt or not.
Right.
You don't know if he's going to make his job being off 2 months. See, you don't know. And like I said, the money can start to dwindle down. How is he going to live off of a GoFundMe plus also pay private eyes? That's going to be a problem. And the fact that he's fired too, let me tell you what's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to be some smoke in the city. You mark my words. So let me ask you this. Is the boy alive or dead?
I want to keep, faith because that's just the kind of person I am. But realistically, I'm going to have to probably say no.
Tell me why.
Because
so basically you say you don't believe the photo footage is Sebastian Rogers in North Carolina.
I'm thinking that it's not because it's taking so long for them to say nay or yay.
Okay.
They're just kind of like
last weekend, right?
Right.
Okay, so a whole week, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long time, you're talking about FBI. We're not talking about TBI. We're not talking about. Oh yeah,
of course.
We're talking about the FBI. If they can, January 6th happened, right? And them damn fools got caught fast by that intelligent face recognition, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to sit here and tell me that they can't take a photo or a video in a week and find two individuals that are pictured clearly in that picture? I'm just saying.
Okay, so now let's do the flip side. Let's 1 weekend and we find out, let's say by tomorrow, Monday, it is Sebastian Rogers. Go.
Okay. Well, God bless America. Right, faith back in humanity. Now, who took the baby? Who took Sebastian?
And the water.
Okay, we need to know where. Quit drinking that damn Tennessee water. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Tennessee water rough right now. It's deep.
And I didn't tell my husband.
This is what I said. That's crazy. Why would I? Because people do stupid shit all the time. I don't even know why I'm asking this question. Why would I put my child in a facility or give them to a family member, hide them out, however it went, knowing I'm going to go file a fake report? I can be charged with filing a report. Could be a felony in certain states. Most of the times it's a misdemeanor, but it's still fraud.
I'm kind of glad.
What would be the end all to filing a fake report?
I am kind of glad you asked this question because I've thought about this. Okay, I'm like, proud feet over there just marching around like he's somebody, and cussing out women and stuff. He's very,
y'all are killing me calling them proud feet, not proud foot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke.
No, it's funny because it's funny. I thought y'all were making a joke.
I meant proud foot. Yeah, that's his name.
Well, they got proud feet.
So I'm like, okay, so Chris,
because he's real full of himself, so he's real proud.
He is. He is. He's a proud man. So I'm thinking that if Sebastian did hypothetically run away, okay, they're saying he ran away, and he's with a relative. They're going to say, well, he ran away, and we didn't know he was with our relative. See, Chris is very direct, and if you don't ask the exact question worded the exact way he thinks it should be, he ain't gonna answer you.
Well, that's why I kept
Just like the
saying
lie
with
detector
Seth and
test.
all the reporters, you have to know what to ask because these people seem like they know how to not give up the damn goods. So you
Yes,
have to ask them questions like you're talking to a toddler.
absolutely.
Did you put your
You have
hand
to
in the cookie
right,
and take the cookie out?
open your
What did
mouth
you do
wide,
with the
stick a
cookie?
spoon
See
in
where I'm
there.
going? Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's like, open your mouth, Chris.
Right.
I'm gonna
You
put
got to
the
talk
spoon
like
in
you're
there.
talking to a toddler.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's probably what, if that would come to pass, that he ran away and he's with a family member. That's who that's in the picture.
Okay, so but
Then
why
it's
would a
going to
family
be,
member not come forward to say, I have the child? Stay woke now.
well, because Chris Proudfeet, it just likes to be a bully. And he's like, dude, this is in our best interest. This is in our best interest. We need to keep him, people do weird shit.
So listen, I'm gonna say it again. The child is missing. Why would you file a fake report to say the child is missing if he's alive? If somebody called and told you, you want me to believe this child called one of his relatives? I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that he did it himself. I believe this is, I don't believe it. But if this comes to pass that he's alive and with a family member, it was a staged hoax. It was
Okay, yeah.
staged.
Okay, so let's still go here. If it's staged, you still ain't answering my question. Why did you file a report?
That's, you know
You
what,
could have
that
hit
I
him
don't
out.
even
Listen,
know.
listen. You could have hit him out and told no one. Ding, ding, ding.
Right, yeah. I don't know. There could be some different reasons. I don't know. But that doesn't make sense because of this custody case. He would want a perfect home. So that scenario to me isn't working in my head correctly.
What scenario wouldn't work?
What I'm thinking in my head, like, if he ran away, they staged it, they hoaxed it, that's not making sense because
But what did I say earlier? People do stupid shit and they don't
Mhm.
think. So perhaps
Yeah,
they didn't think this out, whether the boy's alive or dead. You didn't think it out. So let's keep it real. If you killed the boy, you didn't think about how it would look trying to get your girl child and you had a tumultuous relationship with Nina. Number two,
right.
you didn't think about if he's alive, hiding him out, you still been able to get that baby. So
Right.
either way, whether the boy's dead or alive, no judge is going to give you the kid.
Ain't gonna happen.
So you didn't plan it out either way, however it went, whether he's alive or dead.
Right.
So this is where the stupidity part comes in. People
Yep.
do stupid shit. It's called 50 ways to kill a person, 100 ways to get caught.
Right.
Because you never planned it thoroughly.
Right. You did. And that's what people get caught. I mean, there's not a perfect crime in my opinion. And so whatever has happened to Sebastian, it's going to come to light. It might be years down the road. We don't know. I mean, there's unsolved cases that last 30, 40, 60 years.
And that's scary, pulling up cars out of rivers and ponds and lakes. And the people have been missing since 1968 or 58. And you're like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. That to me is just so sad that a person's missing, half of a century. And somebody goes diving into a damn lake and pull a car up with the dead person in the car.
Well, just like and with some family members that I know, it's distant family members. I was a little, so I don't really know the details, but his wife went missing and they all thought the husband did it. And it was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Right. But she was seen on a one of those back in the day, it was real choppy cameras outside of a truck stop getting gas, coming home from work. Then she just disappeared.
Right.
Well, they ended up, I don't know, 10, 15 years later finding her, but they never caught who did it.
Where'd they find her?
She was deceased. They found her like 20, 30 miles away from the actual location in a wooded area.
Well, where was her car? Where was her car found?
Her car was at that truck stop.
So somebody forced her into their car at the truck stop?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And the husband, which is like a long distance cousin of mine, he was accused for years.
Oh yeah.
And they never found out who did it. Like who? So and it's a good 30 years now.
Okay. Let's talk about
it does happen.
The neighbors have talked to YouTubers. YouTubers are gone banging on doors to say they've talked to people, neighbors. Do you find it strange that neighbors are just now coming out 2 months later to talk about the Proudfoots and the boy?
I don't really find it too strange. I'm retired now, but I used to live in a neighborhood that looked and felt kind of like the Proudfoot Feet's house.
Okay.
And like, they kind of like to protect their own in the beginning, and then they loosen up a little bit. The very, you own a $500,000 home. You're just not going to talk to any random new person in the street. You're very conservative, in
Well,
my opinion.
well,
So
look at the Kansas situation. Once they did the first 4 arrests, people started coming out. People that know the suspects. Older white man, he just spoke about one of them wanting to be a preacher.
right.
They
So
didn't
I
probably
don't
mention
think it's
but they didn't know they was arrested, so they wouldn't have a reason to talk in the beginning until the people
right.
got arrested. But they're now speaking about those people. And now
I,
neighbor has spoken about seeing the cars out there by the Twombies.
right. I don't think it's odd. I think it's just the right time because something has to be, something's going to lead to break this case open,
Okay.
in my
But
opinion.
why go to YouTube first? Why not go to the news first?
That's a good question. They probably hounded I don't know. I never try to get anyone for an interview or anything like that. I mean, I don't know what the process is like, but they might have just, hounded the person until they gave in and did it. In my opinion,
Because
I
see,
know.
this is how I look at life. Everything can be done anonymous. You can send a letter
Right.
to the newspaper, to a website.
Right.
You can call the news. They can put you behind a camera, block your silhouette, distort your voice. You don't even have to tell that you're right across the street or next door. You can just say, I have knowledge, have seen. And then it'll be up to the Proudfoots to try to decide who is the person talking behind the screen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what the neighbor said was very interesting.
Okay.
Like, especially since the DCFS call, the DCFS call, that was the last one, not about everyone gets a little confused about the belt and DCFS. That's not correct.
So the belt is the first one.
Well, there was really no DCFS call apparently
Okay.
on that. So this one.
So the
that he
boy
was
went
at
and
school.
told. Wait, hold on. The boy went and told somebody at the school, and then the school called the state. Is that what you're saying?
Well, apparently, but that's not what this neighbor guy was saying, that they turned in their footage to DCFS that they had of
Oh, I didn't know
Mr.
that part
Proudfoot.
because I fell asleep trying to listen to all that stuff early this morning. Okay, so they put footage of him. What, the pressure washer situation?
I'm not sure exactly what they turned in. The chat might know. I don't exactly remember because I was listening, but also doing other things too. But I did hear him say that they had video and they did turn it in. If it was the pressure washer or him yelling, I know that there was a witness, at least him yelling, get your R word.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it. So, Katie. And they witnessed that. They witnessed him being, the pressure washer. They witnessed him sleeping in the garage because Chris said he's tired of the room smelling like piss. So, they said that they witnessed that. And now that's all on video of him in the yard acting out or not. But it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. So this is what I had said earlier before you jumped up. I find it strange, this diaper wearing business, him going to the fathers wearing a diaper, not knowing what Seth had said to the family about the diaper situation, what he said to the son about the diaper situation, why the son said he's using the bathroom. See, we don't know, because when I hear that conversation, I'd like to hear that conversation. Because in the end, I'm going to use deduction. Everyone knows that using the restroom on yourself, once you know how to use it, is usually a sign of some type of abuse, neglect, okay? So we're talking about a 16-year-old. So there's no reason for a 16-year-old not to be able to use the bathroom, period.
Right.
I don't care if they ain't toilet paper in the house. You still can do it or pee or whatever. So what I have to say is possibly he's going backwards. He's going back into childlike behavior because he's being ridiculed, or he's doing it on purpose, because we've heard parents say that. Oh, they use the bathroom on purpose, or they boo-boo on themselves on purpose. They know how to go to the bathroom, but it's retaliation. So then now we got to ask that question. Was the child using it out of retaliation or out of fear, and now his body just normally releases it on its own? See where I'm going?
Yeah, I think
we really don't know the child's behavior, because we've learned that autistic children can be very violent and combative. That's what I really want to know, the truth. Who is Sebastian Rogers as a child?
Right. And that's a good question, because there are different spectrums of autism.
Right.
I know someone personally that has two autistic children, and they're hit Sebastian's age. One is high functioning, one's, not as high functioning as
Yes.
the other. And they have, and I asked her specific questions just to kind of get a feel of maybe what Sebastian, how he would be at 15. This is what he does. He
Yeah.
can play video games, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, well, I'll tell you, they have a very a routine that and they do not like to get out of it. Just like
Okay.
she, as an example, her 15-year-old has this particular hoodie that he has to wear. Now, I'm in South Florida and it gets hot here, but
Okay.
he has to have this sweater on and he refuses not to have it on, even
Okay.
if it's 90 out. She
Okay.
goes, it's a big issue. So they're very routine. They like what they like and they don't like what they don't like. And
Okay.
there's no explaining, there's no reasoning, so I was like, okay, that was kind of helpful. But I think that the diaper thing is out of fear, in my opinion. It probably started out of fear, in my opinion,
Okay.
with Chris. How he bullies people, he probably did the same thing to Sebastian, and he probably had a fear, in my opinion, of Chris.
Okay.
Maybe not a physical fear, like physical abuse, but verbally.
Do you believe he has abused a child physically and verbally?
I think, in my opinion, I'm sure that there were verbal, because he does that to women on right here on YouTube. So I think verbally, in my opinion, possibly. Physically,
Because he already went to the school and told them. So I can't see Chris putting his hands on him or Katie, knowing that CPS had came. You understand what I'm saying? And got involved.
right.
That would
I
make no
don't,
sense for you to put your hands on him. If you do it, you did it, and you're gonna knock him off.
right.
You don't going back telling. Or
I don't see the physical, maybe like the sleeping in the garage. I see that as a possibility, absolutely, because Chris is an arrogant aide like that.
Who saw him sleeping in the garage?
I believe that the neighbors knew that he was sleeping.
So
in
he
the
was
garage.
stupid enough to pull the door up where somebody could see.
Apparently, I guess. I don't know exactly how the guy seen him in the.
You believe that?
I can see that possibly happening with Chris because of the way he carries himself.
Now let me throw this out at you. Could it be somebody's making that up because we heard that he put the bed in there when he was asked about getting the mattress from a relative, friend, or whomever, and he said, "Oh yeah, I took it and put it in the garage." Remember that statement?
Hell yeah, absolutely. Could it be made up? Absolutely.
Could the man be feeding off of that information from Mr. Proudfoot?
Oh yeah, definitely. It could be 100% made up. Absolutely.
Okay.
But does it seem too far fetched? Does it seem like a real far fetch out there in this situation? In my opinion, no.
Okay. So how many people?
Because let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
How many people have talked as far as neighbors to the YouTubers? Because I didn't get a good understanding of how many people.
Now personally, I've only heard this one gentleman on his own voice. So I'm only assuming this one, but I'm not really sure if there's been more that's come out.
The one that's been there 13 years.
Yeah, the 13. Yeah.
13 years. So he saw him sleeping in the garage and also the pressure washer incident. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that someone that lives in that type of a home with that type of material things is going to go ahead and just get a used bed and put it in their home and leave one pissy one or a nasty one or a used one or whatever in their garage? Does that seem like a normal situation to everyone?
I could see a whole lot of things going on because you don't know people. And lately, if you watch YouTube and the videos I've posted on my community page, all these houses look nice where the children were pulled out in a cage.
Yeah.
I just posted that a week ago. Nice neighborhood, California. So anything's possible. Now, I can't see him leaving the pissy mattress in the garage because if you don't want piss in your house, you ain't going to want it in the garage.
Right.
Why are you going to want to get out of your car and smell piss? What I'm curious to know is when was he last at the house?
Right.
Christopher Proudfoot. I'd like to know when was the last time he visited. Another thing is this. Why would he care about what's going on at the house? He's never there. Did anybody ever think about that?
Right. Yeah. And you know what? And also that you say that, it brings to my thought about that night that he was on the phone with Katie. Now, it was said that he was on the phone with Katie to 12:30 until he told her to go to bed. Not that he had to go to bed. He's like, Katie, you're falling asleep. Go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was reported to be at the job site at 5:15.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that you got off the phone at 12:30. You'd be asleep maybe by 1. Then to be at the job, I don't know how long your commute is, Mr. Proudfoot,
Right.
but you're going to be there at 5:15. So a crane operator is going to sleep for maybe 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's normal Sunday for you? I don't think so. And why I say that, I can only speak on my own experiences. Like I said, my husband is a heavy machines operator, retired now, and he had to, go to bed by, 10, watch the news, go to bed, wake up, get coffee. I mean, it was no 4 hours of sleep here.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you're saying, but you know what? People do stupid stuff because I know I've done it, operating a big vehicle last year, and I have a problem with going to bed at a decent hour, and I was only working on a couple hours of sleep, which I know better. And this other guy I know who was driving public transportation, he was saying he was only getting 3 hours, and he had to be up at like 5, 6 in the morning. So you're telling yourself, listening, this is not logical because you need to be able to focus. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And pay attention. But there are some people who can function on just a couple of hours, and they are doing various types of jobs where they need to be paying attention and be meticulous, with their eyesight in their hands. But I can honestly say I don't recommend it.
Right, I don't recommend it either.
No, because sleep will sneak up on you when it's ready.
Right.
Because I noticed that one morning when I was driving, this public transportation vehicle, I started feeling sleepy behind the wheel, and it's like morning, 10 something in the morning.
Right.
Morning, because I'm not getting adequate sleep.
Right. I agree. I just didn't really, because
But I understand what you're saying. You're looking at the type of work he's doing. How are you going to be sitting on the phone all night and then have to get up in a couple of hours? So I understand what you're saying. But see,
right.
I don't know Chris Proudfoot. Maybe he can work off a couple of hours of sleep. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And then that was one question that because my husband listens to you and he listens to one other person. The rest he does not listen to. But he's like, well, that doesn't make sense to me. How's that guy only sleeping a couple hours, getting up, and then working like that? He goes, that doesn't make sense to me. Something is off. And then about him coming home.
Yeah.
My husband also, he would go into other states and work, and then but he would always try to come home at least every other weekend or whatever, right? Or I would go there, kind of like what Katie did. So, he's like, something isn't right if he's not going home for an entire month.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
they only pay you
3 hours away, 3+ hours. That's ridiculous.
And 3 hours isn't a lot. Honestly, 3 hours isn't a lot. And he's like, they only pay you your like whenever you work for a company, they give you so much allowance each day for food and room, right? That's part of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, but they don't pay for the weekend. They only pay so much for the week.
Okay.
So he's like, why wouldn't he not go home on the weekends? I don't know, but it doesn't make sense to me.
So if he died, you think it what? How did he die?
I think maybe, in my opinion, since he has that brain situation going on, and if he's hit in the head, I'm thinking that thud means something. Then she said, well, I heard a thud.
Okay, but why bring that up? But why bring that up when you didn't say that in the beginning to the news?
Right, because I think the conscience slipped a little bit there. She had a little bit of slip of the tongue.
So the thud is what? Me beating my kid or my husband beating the kid?
I think, I honestly don't think Chris did something. I'm thinking that he got involved because Katie did it. Oopsie. I had a little. Okay, here's my theory. I think she was sippy, a little drinky. Okay. And he was acting up in the bedroom.
Girl, you're
and
crazy.
She went in there. She went in there and she gave him
What
hell.
you doing? What you doing still up? You got to go to school in the morning. And what? She just went ham, started beating her kid?
And just went ham on his ass.
And you don't think that 6-year-old couldn't fight her back?
I don't think he would.
You'd be surprised how strong boys are.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think that he did. I don't think. She's military trained.
Well, because she had done it quietly, gave him a sedative, which a lot of people do with children, and gave him something, or went and put a pillow over his head and suffocated him.
Absolutely. Any of the above would have happened, but I think it happened with that. I think it all evolves around that thud. because she slipped up and said that.
Mm.
I think it revolves around that thud.
Or she could just
involved.
be throwing it out to control the narrative, make it seem like somebody came in and got him,
Oh, yeah.
or he was messing around in the room and left out.
Well, that would be plausible if their windows were unlocked, but she made it clear that all the windows were locked. And if someone's going to knock him in the head and steal him,
Yeah.
kidnap him, then something will be unlocked because
But
not
I
everyone.
got to throw stuff out there too, because I have been watching social media, and I see the things you all are saying about my husband and myself. So I've got to throw something out there to take the heat off of he and I.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. She does.
This is why I
Absolutely.
said they didn't plan it. If the boy is dead, they didn't plan it thoroughly, because you have to think of all the possible scenarios when you are in a house and you're saying that the child is not there. If there is no break-in, no broken windows, no broken windows going in the house, outside glass, there's no jamming of doors, then how did the child get out of there? How would somebody have gotten in to get him? See, you got to make that make sense when you are telling
Right.
the story. And
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. You don't have an alarm, but you work for an alarm company. That makes no sense. You can
That
see what
makes-
he's doing. You can see what he's doing in the house, but you don't have an alarm. Why would I have cameras in my house, but I don't have cameras outside my house? I don't have
Right.
motion sensors. Well, that defeats the purpose of having the fucking alarm.
That to me blew me out of the water whenever I
It's
found out
bullshit.
she worked. I'm like,
Bullshit.
you bullshit, you don't. But, she's probably knows how to install, uninstall, make them stop.
And
make
I
whatever.
know that you are never going to find out until, as I just said, an arrest and an affidavit is released to the public. This is why the
Yep.
Proudfoots can go on YouTube and spin all these various versions. And you also have to ask yourself, why is Katie not talking? Bingo card.
And I've been thinking about
Why
why
is
Katie
Proudfoot?
hasn't
Proudfoot is
spoke.
everywhere. He's like, a fucking drone.
Oh yeah,
He's
that guy.
everywhere.
I think he enjoys it. He likes the
He's getting what he
confrontation.
doesn't get in life, and that's attention.
Absolutely, and he likes the combativeness of people. He loves it.
Yeah.
He'll do it all day with people, and that's ridiculous. And why Katie hasn't spoke is I think it's her guilty conscience won't let her speak.
He's lonely. He's lonely. Katie's lonely, and this could be the, as I said, the ultimate, goal. Get rid of this kid. The marriage will be better. But there's no way you can make it after this. I don't see it getting any better. I won't doubt that also Christopher Proudfoot is a whoremonger. I won't doubt that he's been screwing other women down there in Memphis, outside of Memphis, Arkansas, Mississippi. I won't doubt that he's on the date sites. Straight well.
Oh no, I believe that. I believe that 100%. I believe that too. Just like the lady that said that she was a waitress at one of the restaurants he visited, that he, flirted with her all the time. Oh yeah, sure. That's his personality. That's exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's big talk of the walk.
I can see that he's got a side piece. Do you think he has a side piece?
I don't know if he has an active side piece, but he probably's had a few side pieces, but I don't know if he has.
Because guess what? How did that work? Katie's now in the camper. Now you can't go lay up with the next cutie pie.
Right.
I won't doubt that he also had a double life, that he could have been living with a whole nother woman and family down there near Memphis, and Katie had no damn idea.
Right. I can see that he could have a double life because she wasn't there during the week. I mean,
exactly.
Come on. I mean,
How do you know he wasn't parking his camper at somebody's house? Shut your mouth.
Right. Exactly. You ain't gonna know. You got to take care of your kids.
You damn right. Save my money.
I have to work Saturday.
Find you a cutie pie with a little plot of land or a house. She's got a driveway. Park your little trailer, whatever you took with your camper, no camper, because we don't really know if he took the camper with him when he was working. So you got to know all that. You don't know what Mr. Proudfoot has been doing.
Mr. Proudfoot was prowling, I think, in my opinion.
Mr. Proudfeet had happy feet.
He had happy feet.
Yeah, as the old black song said, get on the good foot.
Right?
He was on both good feet. Okay?
Right?
Oh yeah, I won't doubt. He's been down there screwing God knows what. He probably got another girlfriend side piece. And when all this shit broke, he had to tell her, well, you got to get on the back burner because now my wife's going to come down here and stay with me. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, I won't doubt it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's bad because like my husband works in that kind of an industry. Well, not anymore, but and I know those guys. I would come and visit my husband on the weekends and they ran wild. I'm just gonna
I
tell
know
you.
they do. I know.
You know,
Listen,
they
I
go
know
to strip
guys
clubs, they
who I
go to
back out. They party hard. They drink up through the week, the weekend. Some of them go
oh,
home. They got a whole different life down there
they act
where
they
they
put
live,
back on
where they come from.
they put on one of those, you know,
Whole
circus
wife,
collars.
children, all that.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what I saw funny. I was in a grocery store about a week or so ago, and I saw this guy who loves kitty cat. I mean, you know, he's just kitty cat heavy.
Mhm.
I saw him pushing. I saw him following this woman around in the Walmart with 2 kids, and I looked and thought, wait a minute, this is the same guy that's out through the week, you know, flogging, putting on, throwing money around, buying drinks for everybody, G'd up, dressed up in his little Gucci and all that. And now here I'm seeing him walk around in a wife beater in Walmart with this woman and 2, you know, school-aged kids. And the first thing I'm thinking, okay, where did this woman and these 2 kids come from? And the woman wasn't all that, you know, great looking. So I was sitting there thinking, oh, okay, so he likes all types of women. So I'm sitting there thinking, I bet you if I go out on a Wednesday night to the little place where we go get our little chicken and stuff, I bet you I won't see her in there. You see where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's all over the place, and he also goes down to Georgia on the weekends. So I was wondering if maybe this is the real life he has, that he's a father to 2 kids and a woman, and they came up. Or unless he's met some woman here that's got 2 kids. I don't know. But he's a well-known whore.
I would see that crap all the time. Like whenever my husband would go and I'd see the guys, I'm like, and I know they're white.
He works for the plant out in Oak Ridge. So, you know, he and a whole lot of guys are up here working, black men working as electricians. And he's from Georgia, from Atlanta. So I won't doubt he's living a double life. Because allegedly he had said something about a year or so ago that he was dating a girl down there. And she came up here showing out, going off, thinking he was sleeping around. And he's been seen with different women in the community. He's flirting with different women, you know, different women talking about, oh, yeah, he's trying to talk to me. He's just a whore. He don't even care about himself. And I told him once, I said, you are living a dangerous life. You're dating people that know each other. I said, you're coming out talking to different women and in different women's faces. You've been messing around with a married woman. And then you telling me, oh, we're just friends, but yeah, I've messed with her. I said, this woman, she stalks you in the bar like you're her fucking man, and she has a whole husband. You don't realize what you're doing. You're going to get yourself hurt, and they're going to be shipping your ass back to Georgia in a damn body bag. But see, when you have a person who has this attitude, like, I'm the shit, I can do whatever I want, they don't care.
No.
And I want that output is just like that. I can do whatever I want. I can sleep over here, whore over here, do what I want. Nothing bad is going to happen to me. But those are the same people who end up dead.
Oh, I agree 100%. That's how he carries himself.
Yeah, because they don't think.
Nope, and they don't care about anybody else's feelings.
Yeah,
and that's why I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I think that's why I think that Sebastian may have been on the sensitive side a little bit, you know what I mean, for a boy, and he didn't like that. And I don't think, in my opinion,
Chris about crying and stuff, whimpering, yeah.
I don't think Chris liked that, and I think it
but
got
he has a mental disorder, so you can't judge it, you know, all the time. You know, naturally when he's a kid and you start learning what's wrong with him, you still got to have some discipline because he's going to have discipline whether he has a mental disorder or not. But the thing is, people change, and we don't really know what their lives were like behind closed doors. So we don't know who's talking to him, how they're talking to him. Are they paying attention to him? Was the boy always in people's personal space? Because I can see that he's always, you know, maybe talking to people, giving his opinion, and maybe that bothered people, you know, relatives, other students and children, and maybe he doesn't know how to understand that because he doesn't have the capability to realize he's in somebody's personal space. And I don't know what happened with these people, but I smelled something terrible once I started seeing them go to YouTube. That's all it took for me.
Oh, yeah. And if I ever would come up missing, I done told my husband, don't let me go missing one in Tennessee because they'll never find me. And don't bring your ass to YouTube looking for me.
Well, you're so sick.
You know, because I'm like, oh, my gosh. It's been something with the Sebastian case. But, Queen, I've enjoyed speaking with you.
I've enjoyed it. Well, before you go,
Uh-huh.
Do you agree that this case is similar to Summer Wells?
It's turning that way. It's turning into a circus. And
It
I
is a
was
circus.
thinking about Summer Wells the other day because,
Yes.
it's going to be June in a month
Yes,
and
next month.
so,
Yep.
and that'll be 3 years. And I'm like,
It's hard to believe,
nothing,
isn't it?
girl.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is. It's hard to believe. And I'm like, oh my gosh, nothing. I mean, come on.
So what
And
happened?
I was someone that really thought that Candace, Grandis, and Dawn all had something to do with that. And actually, what I was thinking that the boys had done something on an accident, not meaning to hurt their sister, and they've covered it up.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they're trash. They do trashy shit and get drunk on YouTube and throw down and live like filthy pigs. But in my opinion, I'm sorry if I shouldn't say that.
Lordy.
But we all seen the evidence of the condition of the
Yes,
house.
yes,
But
yes.
dirty people still love their kids. Most of them, And I just didn't see Candace doing something to Summer. I think it
Really?
might have been an accident. I am not a Candace fan. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not a Don fan at all. In my opinion, he's done terrible things in his life, and he needs to be held accountable for them. But I don't think on that day something happened with Summer. I think if anything, it was an accident. They freaked out because, the man's house.
But look how sick that is. Let's say it was an accident. You still lied that she's missing
Oh
and
no,
never
honey,
told the truth.
you're
But all
right.
you had to do was call 911 because if
Exactly.
you were worried about your children getting taken from you, well, they were, and you never even fought to get them back. So I can't look at them in a good light, even if it was an accident and they hit the little girl.
Oh
because
no.
You didn't show no effort in getting your boys back. So that shows me you really didn't give a fuck about your kids. So I can't.
Oh no. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
They didn't love their kids in my eye.
And before this say that this tragic situation happened, I don't think that not that they took great care of them and all that, but they loved them in their way, right? Okay. So I think when this situation may have happened tragically, then they just spun out of control, even worse than they were in the beginning. But that still doesn't make it right. They should have called 911. But I think that they were covering for something that happened, and it doesn't make it right at all.
But don't you think the children would have slipped it up? Because you got 3 kids. No way 3 can hold a secret and they're young. No way. No way.
I think the only one that would speak would be the oldest, and I want to say his name's Waylon, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but the other 2 would have told it. They would have told it still. And the truth would have came out.
So?
They would have told you it was an accident and something happened and that mom and dad or somebody took her somewhere. They know that. And the kids, and they would have told it. It would have been just like with the case with the West. The kids told it. That's how they got indicted. Remember?
Right. Because that stairs just threw me off. Like, because she said she sent Summer inside to play.
Very scary. Very scary.
And then Summer, I could see Summer getting in front of her brothers. I have 5 brothers, so I used to torment my brothers every day of my life. Okay, but they never threw me down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
But I could see them saying, "Summer, leave us alone. Summer, leave us alone," and like pushing her, not meaning for her to fall down those stairs. But those stairs are scary as shit.
Well, for anybody.
Right. So I don't know, but it's still. I was thinking about Summer the other day. I'm like, you poor little lost baby. You're still not resting in peace. You're still not resting in peace.
And don't you see the similarities between her case and Sebastian's? The parents are eerily similar. They don't have the same financial demographic, but the father is doing all the talking.
Absolutely.
And YouTube, bickering with YouTubers. I really cannot stand to see people bring these people up on their channels and talk about absolutely nothing and then start arguing with them. What is the point?
What is the point?
What are you trying to get from them? You just think they're going to tell you they killed their kid because they're on your panel. Why would I do that?
They're not going to do that. And, I had come across some other things that just threw me way back with that Benny Key stuff like that with Candace. And I'm like, you know what? You guys made an absolute
It was disgusting.
show.
They made it worse to where you would start to think all types of crazy shit was going on in the household with those people and those kids. Once they started running to YouTube, Candace started coming out her shell talking. She's drunk on live streams with no damn teeth in her mouth. I was just like, how far down the rabbit hole are you all going to take this? You all act like you don't have no fucking kids. You all act like 22-year-olds living, you know, up on a hill in some, you know, dilapidated ass house. Just wayward as fuck. It's sad. But this is what's out here. This is what people need to know. Summer's
because at the end of the day,
how fucked up her life was with her brothers and her family. Sebastian, you're getting a glimpse into his life with all this he said, she said. Some of it's probably true. You're realizing you don't know people. So whether it's a dilapidated house in the holler here in East Tennessee, or it's a nice house in Hendersonville, you don't know people. That's the point.
You don't know people. And it's sad because at the end of the day, Queen, these are children. They are not responsible for their own self at this point in their life. Their parents are the ones that are responsible for their everyday living, their safety, and they have failed them, in my opinion.
They have failed them. By
the way that they're carrying themselves in the public eye. And it's embarrassing I'm embarrassed for the child, you know, and I just hope that Summer's case gets solved and she can, not because I want to see him prosecuted, but so the little girl can rest in peace. Yeah. You know, and that's my concern about it. But with Sebastian, the same thing. In my opinion, I don't think he's alive, Queen, and that's sad to say. It breaks my heart. But if he would have just simply ran away, he would have ran out of food. And without shoes. And I asked my friend that too, that has autistic children. I said, do you think that he would have left in the middle of because she didn't know about that. She doesn't do YouTube. And I told her, and she goes,
she watched the news, don't she? Did she see it on the news?
No, it's not been down on South Florida news here at all.
So she don't watch Court TV or News Nation or
no, not really. She doesn't. Damn. So she didn't know who it was. So I explained to her a little bit about it, and I said that he left with no shoes on. And I said, does that sound right? And I said the weather on February was like 26 degrees that night. She goes, I don't see that happening because they're sensitive to other things like hot's really hot, cold's really cold. You know, so she didn't see that even being.
I can see him going to a neighbor, just in my own forethought. I can see him going to a neighbor's house for help versus running out into just the wilderness. And
right.
That's what I would see. Hey,
running from
I'm scared, something like that. Not just running out to the wild.
Not running out into the wild with no shoes. I could see.
I don't know it, so I can't. Really
It's heartbreaking, and I hope that
because this is something that nobody's thought about. What if he was the type that when he got mad, he did run out? Say, whoa.
Right. I mean, he is 15.
He had shoes on, acting up. She said something he didn't like. He ran out the door.
Right. And my other question was that no one's ever asked. I don't think I've ever heard. Did he have a bicycle?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think he had a normal existence because one, he's not having company. He's not going with other kids anywhere. School activities. Katie said that interview one. Oh, he only doing stuff according to school. He's only talking to kids at the school. So that means nobody's coming to the house. He's not going to their house. He's not going to slumber parties. He's not going to school functions. He's not mingling with the kids in the neighborhood. Well, then what the fuck is he doing?
Right. He can't get on the internet and play games. He can only play on a Switch,
Who wants to do that all day? 16 and all you're doing is sitting playing video games?
He needs social. In my opinion, he's not getting any type of.
Yeah, because he's not going to learn how to try to interact with people and what's acceptable and unacceptable by sitting in the house playing a video game all day. It's not. You can't learn anything like that.
And didn't you find it a little bit odd though? Whenever Chris has mentioned this several times, that he doesn't know anything about personal space, like he's always in someone close in their face.
And I won't doubt he's probably telling the truth there.
Yeah, but he made it sound like it's such a deal. You know what I mean?
Well, it was. See, you got to always pay attention, sweetheart. It was a big deal. Think about it. That's not the only thing that was a big deal in the eyes of Christopher Proudfoot and possibly Katie. You got a boy who's using the bathroom on himself. You may be the cause of him using the bathroom on yourself, but you're not going to acknowledge that you're the cause that somebody needs a fucking diaper on.
Right.
Never going to admit that.
No, you're not going to admit
But
that.
to you,
No.
it's like he should know how to use the bathroom. He's always in somebody's face. He's bothering people. He's doing this. He talks too much. He overtalks people. He don't know what to be. It go on and on and on. It's probably 1,000 things this man could run a list down on.
Absolutely. And nothing positive too much. Like nothing like, oh, he's really good at this, or he really, it was always what he didn't do right.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's why he's not here.
Right. Yeah, that's bad.
He slowly told you why he's gone.
Yep.
So we have
clean, yes, honey.
Because you didn't tell us that on the first interview. You just was telling us what type of kid he was. The setup of him getting gone. But when he went to YouTube, he finally told us why they got him gone.
Yes. I agree 100%.
Problem kid for us. Now I'm gonna ask you, now let you go. Do you believe he gave Katie an ultimatum that led to him getting gone?
I don't know I think he probably did give her an ultimatum throughout the course of this, but I'm still think because it would have been planned better. So I don't think that night. I think that this night was, like I said, she had a little sippy on the old red wine, honey.
I was thinking it was planned. Take him out, let everybody see him out, kind of like with the whale situation. Stay woke now.
Right, yeah.
We use Boy H as the go-to person to say, oh, she came and got me, we went here. Don't you find it strange they went to all these places?
Yeah. Yeah, that is like prancing around.
But nobody can say what happened after the restaurant. Ding, ding, ding. Same thing with Summer. We can't say what happened after dropping off Boy H.
Right. Okay. Nope. Can't say nothing. Can't. They just, and the thing about it is they just vanish, like poof, gone.
Because they didn't vanish. You out all day with somebody. You know damn well as a child you don't just get gone and you were in the custody of your mother all damn day.
Right, and you just vanish off the no high.
They are identical. Summer Wells and Sebastian are identical. And if I didn't know any better, I think they went into the playbook of Summer Wells' case.
Very well could have. I mean, it's been everywhere. And I wouldn't put it past old Chris Proudfoot. If that dumbass can get by with it, I can.
Well, anybody can.
That's how his attitude is. So
the only problem is we've got too much CCTV footage that can contradict the version that you give. So just like I told people, what they told police is probably nothing compared to what they have told YouTubers.
And I also think about whenever you go through, I travel a lot. So, every time you have to like go through a toll or whatever.
Yes, of course. It's a camera.
Someone has to be seen on those tolls going somewhere.
Well, people have to see. Okay. The guy in New York who was accused of years ago in the 80s killing that young girl that he was dating or some mess. And they've got proof. See, you're going through tolls. Nobody's in the car, but then you're lying and say, oh yeah, I had somebody in the car. Well, they can get the camera and look back and see, well, you're the only one in the car. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people don't
even got
that type of stuff.
I go up to Chicago a lot, and I've even gotten one of those red light camera tickets because I rolled through and past the little line. Yeah. And they shoot a picture of like you in your car, honey. I'm like, hello.
I've heard.
I'm like, well, look at me sitting up.
Yeah, that's not you in that photograph. That looks like a guy in there driving, or you see, because you don't really know what the camera can capture. That's what people don't understand about a fucking camera.
So I'm like, what? All these cameras out here, and they haven't seen nothing of that, Sebastian. Nothing. So I still go back to that garage, and off he went, just like that one case of that one boy.
How easy is that to get rid of a person? You go in your garage. Nobody knows what's in the car. You come back out the garage. Nobody knows what's in your car. If she left out that night and dumped the boy, you wouldn't know because she came out with him through the garage.
Right. And everyone would be sleeping in that time, and it's dark apparently through there.
But even if it's daylight, you can't see what's in my car if you're in a tub or something.
That's right. But no one would see her. I seen her. Yeah, but no one would see. Like I seen her leave at 2:05 p.m. through her, I did pick it up. But in the night, she could slip. What that old saying goes, came in like a thief in the night, honey.
But that's what's going to give it away if they do suspect the Proudfoots and they have her or the husband leaving at odd times, because you got to remember, you don't know what he told the police. You don't know if he said I was gone, but his truck has been seen at the house, number one. Number two,
Right.
she could have lied and said the boy walked out, but they've got her on camera in the wee hours leaving out in her car. Because just because I don't have lights on doesn't mean somebody else didn't get a glimpse of me coming out of the garage and going back in at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, so on and so forth. See what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
That's why
And
they
I'm
played
just
Troy
hoping-
about the lights. They do have cameras working at their house. They lied.
Oh, I believe it 100%. And I really hope, because this isn't on top of a hill in a holler. This is in a area with houses and people, and
Yeah, you can best believe those people got doorbell cameras. Somebody probably has seen her come out. If she came out and dumped them in the night, they've got her on camera.
I hope the police have it.
And they're just not going to tell us, of course. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. And
They're not
I
gonna tell
don't
us.
blame them. I mean, shit, I would keep everything close to the vest with the way that rumors mills get started, and
Yeah,
things
it's
get
terrible
started.
now. With all
It's
this
crazy.
PI stuff, swapping them out, it's like, just a dirty game of something. It's just, this case is sad to me. And I told myself, what would be sad is if we find out, hell, Seth might know more than what he's saying.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, what time did Seth go to work? I'm not trying to point the finger at Seth, but there are some questions I'd like to ask Seth.
Yeah.
Seth, what time did you go to work, sir? Now, was your shift 11 to 7,
Yeah.
12 to 8? Like, because there's some hours in there that you could fit in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he did, but, just saying.
Diana says, neighbor says Secret Service was at his home. Whose home, Diana? Seth's home?
Oh, maybe the Secret Service came to the neighbor's home to speak with them. Ooh.
I'm about to check out here. So if there's anybody else that wants to come up and hit the link before I check out, feel free to. If not, I'm going to shut this live down. Anything else you'd like to say? What do you have to say about that Secret Service at Seth's house? Why would they be at his house?
Well, nothing's going to be left unturned, I think. So
Because
good
if
for
that sister
Secret
is the
Service.
one that has the boy, his sister, because who's the one they're saying has him in that picture with allegedly
Yeah, someone was saying that it looked like
Seth's
Seth's sister, but I don't know.
Can you imagine he set this up?
Girl, I mean, then whoever.
What if he called his son? Listen, what if he called his son, hey boy, what you doing? Nothing.
Right.
Hey, grab your backpack, put some things in it, and walk out the door. But then if he knew they had alarms, that would not be a good idea, because then the alarm would sound. See, you just don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't that would be mind blowing?
Yeah, Jim says everyone's a suspect. Of course they are.
Yeah, everybody is suspect. All
Because
right,
what
Kim,
if
I'm
that's
gonna
what-
jump off here.
What if that's what everybody's been doing, pointing the fingers at the Proudfoots because of their behavior? And
But
then
Queen.
they just didn't really give a fuck about the boy, but they didn't have nothing to do with it. And what if Seth did something? Seth knew something was going on. He wanted to get his kid out of there, so he went and got his kid, and he's playing crazy, like, oh, he's missing, really? Boy, that'd be really fucked up.
Queen, that'd be so messed up. Queen,
That'd be
that'll
real
be so
messed
messed up.
That'd be
All
messed
right,
up.
darling, I'm going to jump down,
All right.
and I enjoyed
Thanks a lot, sweetie.
being with
Okay,
you.
honey.
All right, honey.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, everybody. That's Lady K from Florida. I'm going to check out of here because I'm almost at 3 hours. Thank you all so much for joining me. I brought you content pertaining to Sebastian allegedly being seen in North Carolina, right over the hill from the Queen. As most of you know, I live here in East Tennessee. I don't know if this child is alive or deceased. I don't know if this is an actual photograph footage. Many allegations pertaining to who he could possibly be with. Allegations about Katie's family being into crime and this and that. We started off with this story jumping off with landfills and glasses and pants found and lights and dump trucks and PIs and PIs on, PIs off, parents bickering on social media, Proudfoots jumping on every channel they can find, Mr. Proudfoot, Seth being devoid of understanding things about his child, not knowing things about his child allegedly. So you really don't know what's the truth, because the one thing you need to understand, I don't have to tell you everything. That's the one thing people cannot understand about the human brain, the human mind, the mouth. I tell you what I want you to know. My father told me that many years ago. People tell you what they think you want to hear. I don't have to tell you how I feel about everything. And that's true. People lie every day. Oh, I love you, I care about you, but they show you they don't. So you have to think the same in this game, because in the end, this is a dirty game. It's a child missing, but it's still a dirty game. Something happened to this kid, and it wasn't great. Don't think he had a great life with the Proudfoots. Could be they got rid of the child, unalived him, because he was a problem. They were tired of dealing with him. Proudfoot gave Katie an ultimatum. Could be Seth set it up, went and got his kid, lured him out, took him somewhere because he knew shit wasn't right with the Proudfoots. I don't know, because I don't know these people. I just know the story is fucked up. And to me, it is eerily similar to the disappearance of Summer Wells. And as most of you know, next month will mark 3 years that the child has been missing from Robertsville, Tennessee. Both cases are equally the same. Different people, different parts of Tennessee, different economic backgrounds, but it's still trashy. Both got allegations of SA in it, speculation of SA of children, and that's even more sickening. So they're evenly yoked, Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers. The only difference, one's a boy, one's a girl, and one's older. But you got the father doing the talking in both storylines, which is strange. The mother playing coy. You don't see the similarities because they are there. They are there. And it's scary as hell to see people who don't even know each other act the same, talk the same, behave the same. It's no telling what Katie and Chris had going on behind closed doors. It's no telling what they were doing, legal, illegal. You don't know what Chris was doing down there in Memphis, Mississippi. You don't know if he had another life, another woman, other kids. You don't know nothing. But the one thing we can say, he won't be getting that little girl by Nina. Oh, he ain't never going to get her. He'll probably never even get visitation. And it serves him right. Especially if he's been abusing this boy child and or he and his wife unalived him. If they lied and sent him somewhere, it's still fraud. If Seth kidnapped him, put him somewhere with a sister, whomever, it's still fraud. And you've wasted resources that people could have utilized who have a missing child, missing brother, sister, somebody, mother, father. That's what's going to be even more jacked up. The boy is alive, and these people have been wasting time playing duck, duck, goose with law enforcement and social media and news broadcasters. But when you're sick and you're deluded in the head, you can play these type of games. You can play these types of games. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome to the live stream. I have a lot of content to bring to you this week. I had a lot of business to take care of, so I'm behind in bringing you news. But I'm going to be bringing you some news. I'll probably do a live tomorrow. So I'm going to chop up the nurse who's been sentenced for killing her patients. We're going to talk about Britney Spears. She's had a meltdown. We're going to talk about her. We're also going to talk about Puff Diddy. And I'm going to bring you some other shorts. So if I don't do a whole video, I'll do a 15-second short pertaining to breaking news and updates. As most of you know, the Chad Daybell trial is still in motion. I've not brought you content on that because I just can't keep up with the other stories and talk about Chad Daybell. It's just, and I really don't want to talk about it because it's just a repeat of what we learned with Lori. I'm sure there'll be some other things in it. Maybe we didn't hear because you have naturally different defense attorneys and prosecuting attorneys, but I will always post an update pertaining to the Chad Daybell case on my community board. Please take the polls on my YouTube channel pertaining to this photograph and the neighbors pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. That's one question I did not put on my poll about the neighbors. I apologize. I was trying to remember everything I wanted to put on my community page about the neighbors, but I will post that now after this live. Here are the questions I asked pertaining to the photographs of Sebastian. Did Seth's female PI step back, not because of possible FBI involvement, but she thinks that Sebastian is alive and there is fraud from one or more of the parents, Other PI being spokesman and or she and Seth were not vibing. FBI involved, 9%. Fraud from Seth, Katie, and Chris, 6%. Other PI took the lead, 12%. She and Seth not vibing, 9%. All of the above, 65%. So most of you believe it's a combination of all of those is why the lady stepped back from the Warriors investigation. Is Sebastian Rogers alive? If so, is he in North Carolina? 7% alive, 45% says he's not alive. 10% says he's in North Carolina. 5% says he's not in North Carolina. 33% of you are not sure of either. Is the photo circulating indeed? Sebastian Rogers, 34% yes, 20% no, 46% not sure. Lord have mercy. Once again, news updates. Dan Abrams' content has been removed from Instagram and TikTok. They violated him for the content pertaining to Israel and the Palestinian war. Puff Diddy invited men security had never seen before to his hotel room. One of the security guards has spoken out. I'm going to bring you that content. And then I'm going to bring you the content pertaining to the nurse who has pled guilty to killing her patients. All of this content is on my community board. Also, Britney Spears is alleged to be in a bad place, had altercation at a hotel, screaming and yelling at the staff and patrons. Then they seen her wandering around the hotel hallways in just a pillow and a blanket. Don't know if she had clothes on or not. And also, I'm going to throw in FBI warns of dangers of in-flight sexual assaults. I'm also going to do a short on Justin Bieber crying on social media. Nobody knows what it's about. I'm going to touch on that. And the pants found are not related to Sebastian Rogers. Lord have mercy. What a hot mess. There was something else I wanted to... my movies for the week were The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and A Mother's Son. It's a British mystery. A young man is accused of killing a young girl. Did he do it? It is now free on Tubi. And also, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It's also free on Tubi. Those are my 2 movie suggestions for the week. A Mother's Son and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. If you want to watch the trailer to see what the movies are about, they're on my community page. This is where I post updates to breaking news, covered stories. Look for some shorts after this live stream pertaining to P. Diddy, more nonsense, Britney Spears. I will have some shorts uploaded here shortly. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. And, oh, man, I don't know where this case is going, but it's not good. And the one thing I'd like to say before I check out of here, hello, Tay. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You YouTubers need to get a grip. This bullshit you keep doing with these people that's involved in true crime, whether they're the suspect or not. I don't know how many times you can keep talking to a person about a case. I don't know what it is you're looking for, what you're searching for, but you're not going to get it. Mr. Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, are never going to tell you that they unalived this boy child, okay? They're never going to tell you he's alive or dead. They're never going to tell you that they took him somewhere, sold him, put him with a relative. Same thing for Seth. He ain't going to never tell you nothing if he's involved. Why you can't get that through your head? How many times can you talk to a person on your panel? I do not understand this. This is the weirdest phenomenon I've ever seen on YouTube. To continuously keep interviewing a person and badgering them and going on and arguing with them about a fucking missing kid. They're not going to tell you they killed the kid, so stop it. Go find somebody else to talk to. Go find a fucking real relative, friend, neighbor to talk to say, hey, you know the Proudfoots? Hey, you know what they're about, their livelihood, their disposition. Go find a friend. Go find a school teacher. Go find somebody who wants to give some type of valuable information. Because you're not getting shit from the Proudfoots. All you're doing is sinking sinking sand. Just going down the rabbit hole in the abyss. And you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper. It's just like falling free with no bottom. That's all you're getting out this case. Free fall. A lot of rhetoric, a lot of gossip, and you don't know what's the truth. I don't know what happened to the kid, but I don't think he had a great life with the Proudfoots. I'm going to say that. I don't think he had a great life. Because if the father has admitted that the child came to him in a diaper, that's all I need to hear. No way a 16-year-old boy should be wearing a damn diaper. So I can use deduction. He didn't have a good life with the Proudfoots. Thank you for your time. You've been listening to the Vlog XL. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.